Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? Hopefully, hopefully everyone's alive. Everyone hear me okay? Volume okay? Audio okay? What up, what up, what up? What up? Alright. So, is it over? Is it done? Is the bull market over? That's the question on everyone's mind, I'm sure. It's not looking great, but I don't think all hope is lost. So what we're going to cover in this video is mostly just kind of some potential bullish and bearish opportunities to get involved, to get in longs or shorts, kind of some high time frame buy the dip shit. And then we'll also talk about, kind of some things that I saw leading into this that kind of, maybe were precursors to the dump. And then obviously things that we're going to want to see coming out of this that might give us a clue that the dump is over. So volume is okay. Stash is okay. That's good. Okay. So, yeah, I hope you guys all like the stash. This is all I can grow. I can't grow a beard, so I figure fuck it. I'm just going to embrace it. So, listen, I did a long-ass video last night. It ended up being like way longer than I expected, where I went through a bunch of your guys' DMs. I talked about some of the kind of things that went wrong mentally, psychologically that, you could be dealing with right now. So go watch that video if you haven't. This video is going to be much more focused on the technicals, okay? What's going on in price? Where do I think price is going to go? Things like that. Levels of invalidation for both bullishness and bearishness, and kind of my expectation for what's going to go on in the future. So we're going to focus on Bitcoin today. We will cover Ethereum as well. I'm not going to go through a bunch of fucking altcoins today because generally I go through these altcoins when we're looking bullish. Right now, my opinion is if the Bitcoin market itself is bearish, you don't really want to be exposed to a bunch of crypto and long a bunch of random fucking altcoins because there's a good chance that they are going to, if Bitcoin dumps hard, they'll dump even more. But we will cover some. Anyways. So we'll start with a shout out, obviously, to Bybit, the sponsor of the stream. Shout out to them. Been working with Bybit for a couple of weeks now. I'm really excited that I was able to get on board with them. So they're doing like a deposit bonus thing right now where if you sign up using the link in the description here, you actually can get a deposit bonus. So I suggest you check that out. If you make a new account, deposit 2 Bitcoin, for example, you get an extra 1,000 Bitcoin to trade with. So this is going on until June 28th. So I highly suggest you check that out from Bybit. It helps me out. They're sponsoring the stream. So if you make an account, you sign up and take advantage of that deposit bonus, that's great for me. Looks good for me. So I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, let's get into it. Obviously, nothing here is going to be constituted as financial advice. You guys already know that. We're all losing money together. Always do your own research. As you can see, this is a highly risky space to be trading in. So do your own research. Be safe. Nothing this floating neck says is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. With that kind of shit out of the way, let's get into it. So obviously, the market looks pretty shitty right now. Last stream that we did was after the Jake Paul, Ben Askren fiasco on Saturday, and then this was that last weekly candle, right? So it had looked pretty ugly, and we had talked about potential for lower prices, and obviously that's coming to fruition now. So basically, my thoughts on Bitcoin right now, high time frame is pretty much every time frame below the weekly has made bearish market structure and looks like dog shit and looks like price wants to go lower. The weekly has one key structural level here that I'm watching, and I'm going to explain Why this level is relevant, I'm going to actually use a comparison to the last bull run in terms of, what I think is going on, and then we can kind of go from there. It doesn't look good right now. I want to be real with everyone. I'm not here to blow fucking bullish hopium up your ass, right? Like, you need to be realistic here, and you need to just trade what the market is giving you. If you watch my streams, I approach crypto from a trading first perspective. I'm a trader. I'm looking to play the market in either direction. I'm looking to find key levels and then trade setups from those levels to other levels. I actually do better when price is going down, or at least trading into levels that have already existed. So pre-price discovery. Once we get into price discovery, I never know where to take profits. So I don't actually mind if we have a period of sideways and down, because I'll do very well there from a trading perspective. But looking at the Bitcoin on the highest time frame, it doesn't show you anything other than just some perspective, right? The only really two relevant data points from the monthly chart, in my opinion, are that we took this monthly high and we are closing back below it. So this is essentially your re-bull line on the super high time frame. If we're able to reclaim essentially 62K, I think we go to 100K and beyond. But 62K is very far away from where we are now, and price has a lot of work to do before it even comes close to that level again, right? The other relevant piece of monthly information that you can kind of glean from this chart is the fact that we've had, 6 green monthly candles in a row. If we go and look when that has happened previously in bull runs, it's not very often that we get that many in a row. Here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a dump, and then we had another 3 before the end of the run. Previously, in this bull run, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multi-month correction, right? 2-month correction, and then another leg up. So I think best case scenario for the bull run is that we're here, right? That this is like kind of a double bubble, whatever you want to call it, where we have a crazy move up, big ass correction, and then another crazy move up, right? Because 2017, once we had, maybe we're here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a big correction. But this monthly candle closed bullish. This current monthly candle is not bullish at all. It's actually very bearish because it took the high and is closing way below. You can pray that we're in a situation like this, or we're in a situation like this. I think this is the more realistic comparison if you want to do fractals or whatever. This would be the one to look at in terms of, okay, we had our initial run up. We're going to have a big old dump, big old shakeout, multi-month kind of pullback, consolidation before continuation of the bull market from high to low. This thing pulled back almost 80%, right? So that's fucking far. Otherwise, if this is the absolute top, right? Like, let's say this is the end of the bull run. On average, bull markets pull back about, 80%. That could take us down to like 12, 13K again, right? Which is crazy, but it could happen, right? It's not going to be a straight line, but you never know, right? Could be eventually way back down here. Who fucking knows? But ideally, we're in a 2013 type of scenario where we've had a big run up. We're going to see a multi-month correction and pullback, and then we're going to see continuation. I'm having a very hard time kind of gauging sentiment and just kind of like, is this the fucking top or not? Because in 2017, I feel like shit was just crazier. Like, I feel like euphoria was crazier than it is now, right? Where I'm like, okay, well, we had like this crazy alt season. We had ICOs. We had all sorts of crazy shit on the news about Bitcoin. And then I'm like, well, that hasn't really happened yet. Like, I feel like, part of me is like, oh, maybe we're still kind of early. But then again, I look at it and I'm like, okay, we had the DeFi bubble twice. DeFi went crazy twice. We've had NFT bubble where, I'm not saying NFTs are a bubble, but we had an NFT bubble where crypto punks are selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Crypto kitties are selling. An NFT sold at an auction for almost $70 million. Top Shot was going crazy. And then we've had altcoins go crazy, right? We have Cardano being up 4,000%. We have, Ethereum almost going to 3K. We have shit coins on BSC going absolutely nuts. Safe Moon. So it's like, okay, maybe we did have alt season, and we were all just looking in the wrong place. We were expecting these certain coins to do crazy multiples, but in fact it was other spaces and coins and shit that were going to do the crazy multiples, right? So I think people who are being like, oh, this is the craziest alt season ever, or like, I always think it's funny. People like Sol, right? Sol has been insanely bullish. Don't get me wrong. Like, God damn it. I wish all my exposure was to Sol right now and not to fucking anything else. But everyone being like, Sol is just getting started. Like, remember, Sol is up like, what, 4,000% this year? So it's not just getting started. It's up 40x. And that's the case with a lot of shit, right? Like, I mean, unfortunately, I own a shit ton of Litecoin still. I've hedged a lot, but like, Litecoin did a fucking 10x, 13x from the floor. Like, maybe, so who knows, right? It's hard for me to kind of gauge being like, okay, well, we haven't had that standard alt season, so it's not over. It's hard to compare cycles being like, well, this hasn't happened yet, therefore it's not done. I don't know. There's been a lot of euphoria in some places. My heart says it's not over, but the chart looks bad. And so what I'm going to do is focus on the chart and just play shit level to level and try and preserve my capital and not give a bunch of money back until I have a clearer direction on what the market is going to do, whether that's continue on to 100K and maybe beyond, or fucking shit the bed and it's over and we'll see you in a few years. The beauty of it is, as a trader, is we can make money going both ways. But you got to be realistic with yourself, right? You don't want to be the person who was like convinced that it's not over and you hold it all the way down, right? Or maybe you do and you don't care because you're holding on for years. I don't know. But like, at the bottom line is the chart doesn't look good. So that's where we have to start from a trading perspective. From an investment perspective, sure, years from now, Bitcoin is going to probably be higher than it is now. But, if you buy Bitcoin at 50K and hold it to 20K, and then 3 years from now it's at 100K, I think you did a shitty job. It doesn't matter that you made a 2x, right? You did a shitty job because you held it through all that drawdown. But regardless, we'll kind of get into the technicals now. Wearing a green toque with the... I'm hiding my crater zit here. Gotta hide that from the world. Green toque with the green screen. So monthly, we took the high, and this candle's closing bearish as fuck. But keep in mind, we've had 6 straight months of green and absolutely no pullback on the monthly time frame, really. Like, we had this wick, but it got completely engulfed. So not surprising. Even if we are going to go higher, like, this has to happen for us to go higher. We cannot just have nothing but green candles. It's unsustainable, right? So we'll look at the weekly now. I'm going to go back to, I'll use this chart still. So looking at the weekly, what is not good about this chart? Well, what's not good about this chart is we have a close as an SFP above the high. We have the low that generated that high right here. If we close this weekly candle, which it looks like we're going to do, we're going to probably close this weekly below 50K or whatever. Like, if I go to the weekly here, that relevant low is here, right? So we're going to close below that weekly low. It's not looking good. We have this weekly low here, right, that generated the SFP that we're closing through, which basically means to me pullbacks are for selling. But we have this one weekly structure level left, right? So this is the weekly swing low that denotes the market structure on the weekly. So when I determine market structure, the low that caused the most recent high to break, therefore confirming bullish market structure, is the higher low, and that is market structure. So if we pull back here, right, as long as we don't close below this low, the trend, I assume, is still going to be up. However, we can wick below here, but if we close back above, right, I still consider it a higher low. Just like here, the weekly high, the weekly market structure is actually here, not this. My weekly market structure level is here because this is this low generated this high, right? Then we made a higher low here, right? But this did not make a higher high because it closed as an SFP. It needs to close through. This low generated this high, which closed through this previous weekly level. So my weekly market structure actually looks like this. So above here, we're bullish as fuck again, obviously. Below here, I think is bad. Anything more than a wick. If we wick into this demand, right, and I know this is a huge area in price, but I'm drawing it anyways. Any sort of move into here, I would want to be a wick. If we get a close below here, I think that's really bearish. And I think that could confirm for me that the bull market is over, or at least that we're going to see some sort of major correction way fucking lower and then put in a higher low somewhere down here. Who fucking knows, right? But I want to see the weekly maintain closes above here. Absolutely. I do not want to see any price action below here on the weekly outside of a wick, right? A wick here into here and then hopefully back up, right? Because this is my key market structure level. It's not hard and fast. Those are my rules. Technically, we can close below here and then go up. It could happen, but my rules are this, and that's how I fucking execute. So the reason this weekly level is so key to me, and what sucks obviously about the weekly, is it's a high time frame. It moves slowly, right? So if we close a weekly below here, and then I think, okay, we're going way lower, well, it's like, well, fuck, we're already like 40% off the high. I missed the high. But to me, this is super high time frame confirmation. If you want faster confirmation, right, you go to the lower time frame where market structure is going to shift sooner. It's going to shift earlier, and we'll get into that in a moment here. But if you go back here to the last bull run, the weekly market structure low, right? The market structure low on the weekly is actually way the fuck down here. Right? So this was the swing low that generated this high, right? But what you can see, so that level is essentially useless to us. I mean, obviously we were in a bear market well before that level broke, but you can see how relevant that level is, right? Broke down, dumped huge, regained it, pumped huge, support, right? But this weekly low, once we broke that, it was over. Once we broke this weekly low, it was over. And this weekly low kind of reminds me of this weekly low here, which we are going to close below in an hour and a half, unless a miracle happens. So doesn't look very good. That's the bottom line. From a high time frame, this does not look good, and on the lower time frames, it does not look any better. So my weekly market structure that I'm paying attention to again is here and here. Okay? Monitoring this low, but this is my weekly market structure that I'm paying attention to. And then this is kind of my weekly demand where, okay, if we have some sort of major catastrophic dump, I mean, the dump's already disgusting, but if we have some sort of major fucking dump, I think you have no problem bidding here with a loose stop. And then you hope that any price action that trades down here is just a wick on the weekly chart. I think that's a safe play. And that's a play I'll be participating in, bidding that 38 to 40, maybe $41,000 area, hoping that that's the low and hoping that it's just this on the inverse, right? And if we get a wick below here and then a close back above here, I think I would be quite bullish. Otherwise, on the weekly chart, I need to see a move above here to be bullish. And I know it's like, oh, but Maine, you're going to miss the buy the dip. I don't fucking care. Right? On a weekly chart, this is where you flip bullish, or on some sort of reclaim play of the low. You could draw a range here and have your mid-range point be the area that you flip bullish, sure. But we could flip the mid-range bullish and then still reject from the high, right? So to me, confirmation of a new all-time high and beyond happens above here, or at least a major pump from down here, and obviously a breakdown of this level and, you know, a close below this level, to me, I think means major correction. We're going for these lows and possibly way fucking lower. So that's the weekly time frame. It's not looking great, but it is what it is, right? We play this level to level. You need to just fucking make sure that you're not fucking blowing all of your money that you've made in this bull market trying to catch every fucking dip. Wait for price to show you that it's turned bullish and then fucking buy it. And what do I mean by that? Sure, you can bid here. This is weekly support. But if you're bidding every H1 level on the way down, you're getting absolutely torched right now, right? This would be, you know, kind of confirmation. Price wicking into demand and then reclaiming this level, that's a high confidence long, right? So we'll go into the lower time frames now because obviously the weekly is super zoomed out. It's hard to make any decisions based on the weekly. But I would not be surprised if this dump accelerates and we see this happen sooner than later. But for now, things aren't looking great on the high time frame. We've got to be real. I'm not here to shit on you and tell you that the bull run is over, but I am telling you to be realistic with yourself and don't fucking have cognitive dissonance to what price is showing you. If price is showing you that it wants to go lower, be prepared for it to go lower and take advantage of it. Don't just be like, fuck, but it's a bull run and it's a bull market and therefore, you know, it can't go any lower and fuck you and I'm never selling, right? So I'm not telling you to sell into support by any means, right? We're down huge off the highs. If you want to get into shorts, you got to have some sort of reason, some sort of weakness to get involved. Don't just market sell all your shit after we've dumped, because we will eventually, whether it happens from here or from, you know, somewhere in here, we are going to get some sort of relief pump at some point. And then if you want to exit, sure, use that as an opportunity. But I'm just trying to be realistic with you. I'm going to lay out all my levels, all my plans, and then what you do with that information is completely up to you at the end of the day, right? So I'm going to check the chat real quick, and then we will get into some of the lower time frames. But hopefully the weekly plan is super clear. It's looking bearish. We are due for some relief soon. I mean, if you look at you know, the RSI on some of the higher time frames, right? We're starting to get really oversold. So we are going to get a bounce eventually. Like the daily RSI hasn't been this low since fucking like the COVID bottom. The COVID bottom, the RSI was down here. We're getting low. So I mean, a bounce is coming eventually, right? But we'll get into this in a second here. Okay, weekly plan done and dusted, right? So I'm just going to draw this out here. And I'm going to go to the chat real quick. And then we will get back into the charts. Holy smokes, 468 people watching. Let's get those likes to 100. Jesus Christ, 400 people watching, 63 likes. We can do better in that team. This guy says, I'm alive, but I feel punctured in the deepest part of myself. That's tough, man. It's just money. Don't take it too seriously. Stash game better than okay. Thank you. This guy says, shee, that neck. Volume okay, stash okay. It's fucking over, boyos. See you boys in 3 years. Thank you for the financial advice. This is absolutely not financial advice. Are you thinking of cutting your LTC bag? I took some profits on LTC above 300, and I've hedged my bags with some shorts. But yeah, obviously I'm waiting for some sort of relief bounce to probably exit a good chunk of my spot there. But I'm basically shorting LTC to hedge for the LTC that I own. I did a terrible job. You know, obviously I wish I went to Tether last week, right? I wish I went 100% Tether, sold all my alts, but I didn't. I got kind of caught. So I went full Tether here after this move. And then we had this retest here. I was full Tether, right? And then we came back up and we started looking bullish again. So I started buying back. I mean, not full tether, but large portion of my portfolio tether. Like I have Bitcoin from way below that I'm not selling unless something catastrophic happens. And then I bought back a lot of my bags here. And unfortunately, the clear play was as soon as we closed back below all-time high and failed, I should have closed everything, but I didn't. I ended up holding some margin positions and some spot and ate an absolute dick later. So, but that's what happens. Sometimes you're too zoomed in, right? And you're looking at this. You're looking at this structure, and you go, "Oh, this isn't that bad," but you don't realize that this isn't just a breakdown. This is a breakdown above the previous all-time high. So this is extreme weakness here, right? But it is what it is. You can't win them all. Okay. Just swimming underwater. Neck flex, okay. Stash is godly. Thank you guys. Making me feel good. 21 weekly MMA. Stop tripping, everyone. Fucking noobs. Okay, Russell. Cool, man. Thanks for the input there, bro. The stash is dope. Nice mustache stain there, bro. Thanks, guys. You guys are making me feel great about this stash. This guy says, can you explain how we can calculate the BCC dump to alts? As in, if BTC dumps to 40K, how do I calculate how much the alts that I'm in are going to drop? You can't. You can use the alt BTC pairs and the alt USD pairs and just look for areas of support and resistance, but there's no way to know for sure. I mean, at least that I don't know, where you can be like, okay, I'm holding Ripple, and if Bitcoin drops to 40K, that means Ripple is going to here. Generally, what will happen is altcoins will overperform Bitcoin in certain uptrends and overperform Bitcoin in downtrends as well at times, right? So you need to look at things like the BTC dominance chart, right? What the fuck? So I don't even remember drawing this, but there you go. Perfectly executed as usual. We came right into my weekly block and we're seeing a little bit of a bounce, right? So even if Bitcoin goes down, so let's assume, because look at BTC dominance, right? Where's alt season been? Well, I'm pretty sure we've had an insane run on alts for the last fucking several months. Alts have been going crazy. And you look here, right? BTC Dom has been in a free fall, right, for most of the month of April, and we've seen altcoins go crazy, right? And now it's coming into support. Alts have gone crazy here, and if Bitcoin dominance now bounces and has some relief, but Bitcoin continues to drop, that means that altcoins are going to drop harder. So be aware of that. But I don't have some sort of calculation that I can say, okay, my BTC is going to 40K, therefore Ripple is going to here. Use the Bitcoin chart relative to your alt, so Ripple BTC, and use the USD pair. Map out SR levels and play that shit level to level. Trying to compare, just know that if Bitcoin goes to 40K, your alt is probably going to get shit on too. Think of it like this. BTC gets a paper cut, alts get stabbed in the neck. Sure. F the 1900. We'll cover F shortly. Jake Paul is a very, very talented fighter. Sure. F back to 80. Unlikely. Maine looks like he's ready to steal all our Bitcoins. Yeah, I do need to steal your Bitcoins because I don't have any left after this dump, bro. F back to 20. Hate trading and price discovery. I agree. The Glean team. Why don't you use the log scale? I think the log scale is just cope. I think, sure, if you want to do some sort of crazy long-term projection, use the log scale, but the log scale just makes shit look less bad than it is, and it makes people feel better. Like, this looks terrible, but if you use the log scale, you're like, oh, it's not that bad, right? Like, oh, it's not that bad. It's just a little bump in the road. It's just a little bump in the road. Like, sure, the entire bear market of 2018, 2019 was just a bump in the road before 100K. But you held through 80% drawdown, right? So, I mean, if you're an investor and you're just saying, okay, well, this thing is just going up over the long term, then absolutely. But the log scale makes this look not that bad. But if we dump back to 30K before pumping and you held through that entire drawdown, in my opinion, you fucked up and you played it terribly. I just think the log scale just smooths things out over time and it makes it look less worse than it is. But yeah, not something that I use ever. It's not closed. 5 days they can pump. The April candle is going to close like shit, my friend. I hate to break it to you. Monday, bullish news on the markets. Can feel it in my nuts. I hope so, man. I hope there's some sort of miracle. Hi, mate. How do you feel about Engine? I have no idea. I've never heard of it. Sol TD9. Yeah, I feel like Sol is overbought and is going to mean revert relative to the rest of the market probably soon. We'll see. Hard to measure percent run-ups off massive market crashes globally. Where were strength indicators in 2013 compared to the current cycle? I don't really use strength indicators. I'll use some examples just to kind of go over it, but it's not something I use particularly because, you know, we can stay overbought for a long ass time or oversold for a long ass time. I started a full-time job 6 months ago after the last red month. My contract ends this week. It would be too ironic for this bull run to be over. Justin from Telegram has to be right. Who the fuck is Justin from Telegram? Not selling your spot. Take profit, guys. Be safe. Yes, take profit. Be safe. Don't be stupid. That's what I've been saying. What's up, Devin? Still 6 days for the monthly. A lot can happen that time. I think you guys are coping if you think the month of April closes green or something. Unless like some company comes out and announces they've bought a shitload of Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure the month of April closes disgusting, right? Like sure, we could close at 50K, let's say, right? Well, that's still down here. Even if we go up to like 56K, it's still closing as a massive, ugly SFP. Don't get caught up in hope, right? Deal with what you have in front of you. I remember last time we had the most bearish monthly ever. I don't. But weekly structure is broken already. For me, it hasn't, and hopefully I've explained why. This is not the weekly swing low that is relevant to me. It's this one. This is a weekly low that is important because it generated this SFP. So it's a relevant low that we are going to close below. So I'm absolutely paying attention to this as a signal to, if we get a bounce early this week, maybe short it. But this is my structural low because this is the last low that created a higher high that broke market structure. This did not break market structure. It was an SFP. Therefore, this is not my relevant market structure low. That's just how I trade. Other people trade market structure different. That's totally okay. This guy just says hodl. I don't know if you listen to anything I just said, but hodl is not what I'm fucking saying. Completely agree. Right now is capital preservation. Absolutely. Any thoughts on XRP? It looks like shit. What about the 20 weekly EMA? What about it? I don't use EMAs. I'm shaking and crying. I hodl. Okay. Doesn't sound like a good strategy, my friend. And people are going to buy what with their cash? I don't understand your questions. We don't see numbers on the chart. I don't know what that means. Would you suggest staying in USDT for right now? I'm mainly holding ADA. I mean, listen, I can't tell you what to do with your fucking money, right? Like if you're holding altcoins from the very top and you've held them through a 40% pullback, probably not the best time to sell. At least wait for some sort of bounce, but play the chart level to level, right? So, I mean, here's the problem, right? Everyone gives me the same fucking things, right? And I went through my DMs yesterday, and so many comments were the exact same, right? It's just like, what should I do? I own this coin. What should I do? I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money, guys. At the end of the day, you are in charge of your own P&L, and you need to be responsible for making decisions based on the chart, right? What I'm here to help you do is give you my thoughts on the chart, and potentially teach you some things that you can then go and apply to your own charts. But the end of the day, you need to be making decisions based on your fucking own analysis, because that way, if something goes right, guess what? It's 100% to your credit. And if something goes wrong, guess what? It's 100% your fault. As soon as you get in the game of letting other people dictate what you do with your trades and your investments, then you can start shifting the blame. Oh, well, Maine told me to long this level and it went lower. It's not my fault. It's Maine's fault. It's like, no, it's fucking not. It's your fault. You pressed the button. I didn't do shit. right? So you have to take responsibility for your own money and your own decision making. If you're on Twitter and on YouTube just looking for shit for people to tell you what to buy, I'm not that guy. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I'm here to try and be realistic with you, give you tools to improve and make your own fucking decisions, because no one has your own best interests in mind more than yourself. So if you know what you're doing, if you know what you're looking for, and then you make decisions, you have to live with the results, positive or negative, right? Because if some random dude on YouTube or Twitter is like, trust me, bro, buy XRP, it's going to $3, and you buy it at $1, and then next 2 months from now, it's trading at 40 cents, you're going to be fucking livid, right? Oh, that guy told me it was going up. You think that guy's losing sleep over that? Absolutely fucking not, right? So, anyways, before you get in any trade, you need to know these things. Why am I entering here? Okay. Number one. Number two, where is this idea wrong? Okay. Number three, where is this idea right? I.e., where is my target? What is my goal of this investment? Right. And then number four, how much money will I lose if I'm wrong? You need to know all four of those things before you even consider entering a trade or an investment. And they're the same. Whether it's a day trade or a long-term buy, why are you entering where you are? Right? Oh, I'm entering because it's cheap. That's not an entry. That's not a reason. It can go lower and be cheaper. Why are you entering where you are? Okay, well, it's at support. It's at this, blah, blah, blah. Where's your idea wrong? Where's your stop? If you're in a day trade or a short-term trade, where's your stop? Where's your invalidation? If you're in a long-term trade, like if you own spot Bitcoin from here, you probably need to have an invalidation because you don't want to hold it all the way down here. Where's that buy wrong? It should, maybe your stop is here or maybe it's here. You still have to have an invalidation. Where's your idea right? Are you holding your buys here to a new high? Are you holding this here hoping we go to 100K? Okay, great. Well, where's that idea wrong? It has to be, if it's right at 100K, where is it wrong? And then obviously, how much money will you lose if you're wrong? That's risk management, right? How much of my portfolio am I risking where if I do get stopped out, it's not going to fucking blow up my entire portfolio. And if you're all in, that's not risk management, right? That means you're gambling. Most people are gambling. That's the most common DM and thing I get is everyone is gambling. They have no fucking plan. And that works for a while. You know when it works? It works when the monthly chart looks like this. You could basically throw a dart at the wall and anything you bought over the last 6 months went up and made you money. And then you just arbitrarily are exiting it for profit. And you're like, oh my God, I'm an amazing trader. And then as soon as something happens where the market all of a sudden shifts, and it doesn't look so bullish anymore and it's actually going down, you don't have any fucking clue what you're doing. You buy stuff, it continues to drop. It goes up, you buy it, it goes up, you don't take profits, and then it goes down, and now you're underwater again. So this has got to be a wake-up call for some of you. Hopefully you still have some money left to actually learn how to trade and make proper decisions as opposed to just fucking punting based on what people say. Everyone's a genius in a bull market, right? Everyone's a genius in a bull market. As soon as the bull market ends, all of a sudden, we see who the real traders are and who are the people who just got lucky and were in at the right time. There's nothing wrong with being in at the right time, but you got to have an exit strategy, or else just because you bought Bitcoin here, right? If you hold it all the way back down here, I think you failed. Even though you made money, I think you failed, right? So you got to have a plan. Got to have a fucking plan. Anyways, I'm trying not to shit on you guys, but a lot of these comments kind of drive me nuts where it's like, hey, what should I do with this coin, right? It's like, I don't fucking know. Why'd you buy it? Where did you buy it? Where was that buy a wrong? Where is that? What was your goal, right? If I don't know these things, how can I tell you what I think, right? If you're just saying, hey, I own ADA, should I sell it? I don't fucking know. Did you buy Cardano 6 months ago? Then you're up huge. Who cares? But if you bought Cardano yesterday, you're probably hurting, right? So, anyways, I'll get back to the chat in a bit here. Yeah, so this guy says, look for levels of the alt BTC and then multiply that. So if XRP is at 1400 sats, multiply 1400 times BTC at 40K, that means XRP is going to 0.64 sats or whatever. I don't know. So maybe that works. I don't know. That's not something I personally do. But anyways, we're going to get back to the charts, guys. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fucking yell at you guys there. I feel bad now. Everyone's talking about BTC bouncing here. Sick bounce, boys. So yeah, technically, right, this is an SFP. But remember, we're in a massive downtrend, and this is a 1 hour swing failure pattern. You know what this looks like? Well, what happened here? Was this not an SFP? Right? Was this not an SFP here? Was this not an SFP here? Right? So those were all SFPs, and then we continued to shit the bed because the trend is down. The chances of us reversing based on a 1 hour level or a 1 hour swing failure pattern and fully reversing this dump is pretty much zero. If we have a swing failure pattern here and then we break market structure, this is a dip I would buy. But this on its own is not enough reason for me to long. This just looks like price could probably do something like this, if I'm being honest. But we'll see. We'll mark it out for now. Okay. So back to the charts. So we went over the weekly plan, super clear. Weekly looks like shit. Go down to the daily. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the weekly levels on for now because you'll see how they're relevant to the daily as well, right? So the daily, the big difference I have here is this weekly low, right? That generated the SFP. Do I have that marked still? Yeah. So the weekly low that generated the SFP, here on the daily, we did break market structure to the upside. So actually, the daily structure low was here, right? This is the swing low that made a higher high relative to this high. So then my daily market structure is here, okay? And as you can see, we've broken market structure on the daily to the downside twice, right? We have daily low here, we have a daily low here, broke market structure, and we've broken market structure again. So to me, that means we're selling rips, right? We're selling rips. Bounces are for selling. How high they go, I don't know, but bounces are for selling. The daily market structure is clearly bearish. Weekly market structure, technically, for me, isn't bearish until it closes below 43K. This one here, 42.5. But the daily is bearish, right? This broke market structure, a handful of days ago. 6 days, or April 21st, we broke market structure to the downside on the daily. So, there was a bounce that you could have sold into. But yeah, this looks super weak on the daily. The signal to me to have gotten out of longs really was the acceptance back below all-time high. And so this is the mistake that I made here, was as soon as we failed to flip this as support, right? And the exact same thing happened here, albeit not as big of a dump, right? But we have all-time high. We went above it. As soon as we closed back below, look what happened. We sold off further. So that's the exact same scenario here. Broke above all-time high, failed to gain acceptance, sold off, right? So what is this also showing us? This is also showing us that momentum is slowing, right? So if I throw the RSI on here, you already know that the RSI is going like this, and it's got three peaks that are lower, and it's a bearish divergence to these three highs. I don't even need the RSI to see that. I can see that just by looking at the chart, because I look at the chart and what I see is lowering or slowing momentum. And what I mean by that is each high that has been made previous to the high before that, the move leading into it is getting weaker, right? So we had this completely vertical move, right? Big pullback, V reverse, and then a vertical move out of there. And so the difference from this high to the next high is almost 40%, okay? But then the next one, right? Breakdown, V reverse, but then we make a marginal higher high. Very marginal. from here to here. Barely made a higher high, right? And then from this one, break down, not even a V reverse, right? Notice sharp reverse, sharp reverse. The V reverse does not make a new high, and then we get another leg that just pushes us above. So to me, this is just showing what? The trend is weakening, right? It's steep as fuck, and it's getting weaker, right? It's getting weaker. And then obviously the last higher high above this one was even smaller. So just looking at it like this, looking at it structurally, you can assume what the RSI looks like. You don't need the RSI to tell you that there is a bearish divergence happening here because momentum is slowing to the upside. Each higher high that we're making is getting weaker, right? The RSI is not bearishly divergent here because this is gaining strength, right? Each higher high we're making is getting bigger. Now it's slowing down and it's rounding, right? So if I throw the RSI on now, it will show you what I'm talking about here. And there you go. The trend is weakening, right? Relative to here. We have lower peaks on the RSI as we continue to push up and go higher. So this was a sign, right, that the momentum was slowing down, right? The 3-day was super fucking clear up here, right? You have the 3-day RSI, right, with a big fucking bearish divergence here. I mean, if you include this one as well, like from here to here, you know, this was massive. This is a massively lower high, and as you can see, the relative strength, the momentum, the move, the strength of the move was getting weaker. So this was a signal that, yeah, we're probably cooked and we need to cool off, right? This was a signal. This is not enough for me to enter a trade, right? But this is confluence. This combined with market structure and combined with me looking at price action and seeing that we're making, you know, less aggressive highs and we're rounding off, that in combination, you know, can be used to make a decision. But just saying there's a, you know, a bearish divergence is not enough on its own. But hopefully that makes sense there, what I explained. Okay. This would have been kind of your signal to get out here. Failure to get acceptance above all-time high. That would have been the good signal. Once the weekly closed as an SFP, we were already at 56,000, right? So it was quite low already, but that would have been signal number 2. Once we close this as an SFP, right? So let's just mark the weekly close here, right? You exit here, right? And this is now a great invalidation level as well, because our daily market structure I mentioned is here, right? So we had the low. Our previous daily market structure was here, right? We had the low to this high. We've now obviously made a lower low, so the new daily low is like somewhere down here. But regardless, this is a key level for a reclaim, right? Right in here, this is a pretty key level where, to me, on a first attempt, this is a sell. Any sort of relief up into this area, I think, is a sell. But I think if we can reclaim this level, we can at the very least go and attack here. But for now, a first attempt at this level, I think, is a sell if we get it, right? Because there is some support in here. We could get a bounce from somewhere in here. But any sort of move up into this previous daily structure and this now bearish order block on a first test is a sell, in my opinion. So hard to say what it is going to be for sure. But I don't know if we get this much relief. We might get a little bounce. We might go lower and then bounce up to here. I don't know yet, right? But if we do come up to here, this is a sell. And if we do reclaim this, this is a long, at least back into the high. And we can make another high and then still dump, by the way. Just because we make another all-time high does not necessarily mean that the fucking run is over. If we reclaim this and close above it bullishly, sure. But we can have some sort of quick move up here and weakness similar to what we saw happen on Ethereum, right? You can have a move up and it looks bullish and then it closes like shit. I'm pretty sure ETH trades down. but we'll get into that in a minute here. So right now, daily structure, bearish on Bitcoin, sell bounces, right? So here's our weekly levels back here. There's that key daily low, right? So this would be kind of an interesting level to watch for a potential reclaim, but most likely I think any sort of move into here or into here are going to be short opportunities targeting this low and into this demand. There is a key level, obviously, to pay attention to at 45K. So I'm just going to draw that out now, and I'll show you where I get that level from. Okay, so it's the bottom of this weekly bullish order block, essentially. This should give us some kind of reaction. And so if you remember on Twitter, I don't even know when I tweeted it, but I tweeted this box out, right? And people were like, oh, up or down, man, up or down. Fucking idiots. Basically, none of these scenarios happened except for this one. We came down here, and I said, I will punt a long down here. And so that box is derived off of this low from the weekly, okay, up until this high here. So it's the bottom of this weekly order block here, right? It's the bottom of this weekly order block here. And then, so that's SR. And then what am I looking for at SR? I'm looking for an order block to form on the lower time frame. And so that box that I had drawn out was based on there, right? And so we just got our first touch. So it's based on that weekly order block low and then this order block right here, okay? So that's kind of an area where I think we could get some relief in this box. And so that doesn't mean bust your entire nut and go long when we first touched it, because we first touched it the other day, right? And I mentioned we first touched it here, but then now we've made another stab into it, right? And we could make a third stab deeper, right? So we could have kind of a 3 drives pattern form, right? Stab 1, stab 2, stab 3, and then get relief. And where's that relief that I'm going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for a move back into structure, right? This would be structure 1. This would be structure 2. So if we get a bounce from this zone, right? Because this is the only area, 45 to 48K. This is the only area that I see as support, high time frame, until 38 to 40K, right? So if we're looking for a potential reversal, we could see it from here, but I'm probably thinking we do something like one of these two from this area. Either up into there, or a weaker rejection would be here. And then I'm looking to long that 38 to 40K weekly level. And that's the one where I'm hoping we get the bigger, kind of move from. But ultimately, this could, remain in some sort of, consolidation and range for some time. And that would be okay if we have some sort of, big fucking range form here where it's like, okay, I'm going to leave, maybe this one on here. And we'll use this. Maybe we have some sort of multi-month, kind of downturn and range, and then eventually it goes back up. Like, I just don't see this unless some sort of news comes out. I don't see this as a situation where we get one of these, unfortunately. I think the nature of this breakdown, market structure wise, and kind of where we are in terms of price, I don't see this being one of these. If anything, I see it being a, kind of much longer, slower grind, where it eventually consolidates, accumulates for the next couple of months, maybe runs this key low into that weekly demand, and then we see a reversal. I don't see this as being like a, boom. I just don't see that happening. Could it happen? Of course. Anything can fucking happen. But I just don't really see this as a V reversal. I think if anything, a run of this low, and then hopefully a close above, right? So just a wick on the weekly, and then some sort of choppy, bullish consolidation in here, and eventually continuation. That would be my most bearish scenario. If we start trading below here, I think we're going like way the fuck lower, and I don't even want to talk about that because those numbers start with the number 2, and that's just terrifying. All right, so hopefully that's pretty clear high time frame plans for Bitcoin, right? So that's the breakdown of the weekly, that is the breakdown of the daily, and that's a couple of trade setups for you as well, right? So on a daily perspective, we're hoping that we find some bullishness here, right? We're hoping that we find some bullishness here. This is clearly a key level, right? We had this move up, that low formed here. So there's reason to believe that this will be support. The fact that this made a new high here and it's already been tested tells me that the bounce that results from here is not going to send us to all-time high. I don't think it could, but I just don't think it will. I think it's much more likely that this bounces into a lower high and that you would short into. And so that lower high that I'm looking for is at either of these structural daily lows. Okay? So a bounce from this area, maybe we get a third stab, who fucking knows. But then looking to short, you know, kind of from 45 to 48K, either around 50K or closer to like 55K. Looking for shorts, looking for weakness, right? The weekly time frame I think is pretty fucking clear. Again, right? Looking for eventually a wick below here and then a close above here, and then we're off to the races, hopefully. But do not want to see a weekly close below here. And this is a weekly swing failure pattern that I think will probably play out, meaning some sort of pullback here would be a short opportunity, right? So that daily long will be the lower high that you short into on the weekly, right? In terms of the lower time frame than that, I don't really think there's any point in, you know, me going over that shit. If you guys want to trade this on the low time frame, go ahead. My concern with price action now is I feel like we're doing this. Feel like this is kind of what we're doing. And then everyone longs here thinking it's the bottom or thinking we're going to get a lower high, but instead it just sells off again. And then do. Everyone longs here thinking we're going to get a bounce and a lower high, and then it just sells off again. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, right? And then maybe we make one more stab down to 45, right? And then we get the relief. Who knows, right? That kind of 3 drives, right, would be the 1, 2, and then one more down, and then maybe a bounce. So scalp away, do whatever the fuck you want, but I would keep any sort of longs super tight, take profits. Don't expect to catch the bottom. You probably didn't, and if you did, right, take profits along the way, adjust your stops on the way up, leave runners on, go ahead. But chances of you catching the bottom, because the H1 SFP'd here, we had like 4 H1 SFPs here, and then it broke down anyways, right? So don't go giving up all your money just trying to play this fucking shop. Jesus. Yeah, interesting. This 4 hour will close. This 4 hour will close soon here. And yeah, maybe we get some relief, right? But again, I'm looking to short a bounce. Looking at short bounces at this point. So hopefully that fucking is clear, guys. I love you, Senpand. Lower time frame flipping right now. I mean, I don't know how you look at this and think this is bullish unless you're looking at literally like the 5-minute time frame. Like, okay, maybe this looks slightly bullish on the low time frame. But come on, guys. Like, this is not bullish. This might give a little bit of a bounce, right? But this is not the fucking bottom of Bitcoin and it's going to 100K from here, right? You need to zoom out and say, okay, is this bullish or is this just a swing failure pattern before a lower high, right? So sure, if you're scalping, you know, maybe you can find a long in here, right? Maybe there's a long in here. I don't know. You know, there's a breaker. You know, maybe you buy this as a scalp. We can see if that plays out, but I'm not really interested in counter trend longs right now. You know, maybe we get some relief. I don't know. But I'm not really like interested in scalping at this point. I think the trades favor shorts, so I think higher probability trades are going to be shorts rather than longs. Longs are counter trend on almost every time frame. Okay. Yo, what's up, Bo Biddle? What's up, Ryan Milliken? What do you think about possible effects of stonks going up and DXY going down? Maybe we will save the monthly candle. I don't really see the monthly candle getting saved. Dollar and Bitcoin are in sync right now. Usually they're inversely correlated, where the dollar is going down and Bitcoin is going down too. I don't know. I think stocks are due for a big correction soon too, right? So SFP is swing failure pattern. In my opinion, the last dip and pump to 65K were too early and follows a little bit your market structure. No, I don't really understand your question. Any thoughts on ONT? I have no thoughts on altcoins right now. I'll look at them later. This is too funny. You should do TA tutorials on YouTube. I have literally 100+ videos on YouTube where I go over all sorts of TA shit. Companies have to file their quarterly earnings. They should include BTC on their balances. So this is something that is upcoming. I believe May 14th is the day that any companies purchased Bitcoin would have to file and announce on May 14th that they did so for Q1. That could be bullish. Maybe Apple or Google bought a bunch of Bitcoin, right? If you remember, Elon announced that he bought Bitcoin like here. He didn't buy here. He probably was buying all this shit, right? But he announced it here, and then we had the move, right? So maybe that's what happens. But May 14th is still 3 weeks away? So a lot can happen. We can go down a lot further before that happens. But hopefully, for the sake of the bull run, some big companies announce that they bought a bunch of Bitcoin. No, fuck your analysis. Just have to tell me when to buy and sell, so I have to think. Sorry, Edward. This is not the stream for you, my friend. Lose the 60 stash, bro. Never. What is your market structure perception? I don't get it. Go rewatch the start of the video then. Best Japadog order. I love the Wagyu beef. Do you feel like you're leading a town hall meeting with a bunch of angry citizens? Yeah, sometimes I get a little bit antsy and a little bit yelly, but it's because I love you guys and I want what's best for you. You shouldn't be in an investment if you don't know what to do, hold, sell, etc. I agree. If you're new, everything he's saying is 100% facts. I appreciate that. Don't check stonks and DXY while deciding on your buys for BTC. I do, right? But the problem is sometimes dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. Sometimes dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes down, right? So it's not always a perfect correlation. You can't just be like, oh, well, this is happening, therefore this happens. Again, it's like the RSI. It can be confluence to making decisions, but you can't make decisions just based on that alone. And I have a lot more success trading Bitcoin when I just focus on Bitcoin. As soon as I start incorporating what stocks are doing, what the dollar is doing and stuff, it usually is taking away from just looking at the chart that I'm actually trading. Sol is at all-time high. Yeah, maybe I'm just coping because I don't own any Sol, but I have a feeling that shit is going to dump soon. FBTC looks so fucking strong. Yeah, so FBTC can go up. And if Bitcoin goes down, that just means that FUSD is going to go down less. You're seeing that right now. F is up 2.5%. Bitcoin is down 3%. That tells you that the FBTC chart is in an uptrend and F is stronger than Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin drops 20%, F is not going to be green, but it will be less red than Bitcoin, right? Out of curiosity, why is the CME gap so spoken about when we're bullish, just not mentioned when we turn bearish? Just looking at CT. I have no idea what people's obsession with the gaps are. Gaps get filled. We're going to the gap at 9K, blah, blah, blah. I have no fucking clue, to be honest with you. Most of CT is just shit posting, right? So you got to take what is said there with a grain of salt and very lightly, and don't make any decisions based off of shit you see on Twitter. Like imagine for some reason you had to explain to your wife or to, your colleagues or to someone, your buddy, that you lost a bunch of money because you heard some fucking cartoon character on Twitter tell you to buy something and it went down, right? Like, does that not sound ridiculous? It does sound ridiculous. So don't fucking do it. I think the problem is a lot of spot holders follow you and try and take your trading perspective and marry it to their long-term strategy. Yeah, so I mean, I talk about my perspective from trading. I mean, from a high time frame perspective, I do think we look kind of shitty right now, but I mean, if you bought at any point in the last 6 months, you're pretty much up, right? But when you're a trader, your bias can flip quickly, right? Bullish to bearish, bullish to bearish. I can flip every single day, right? And so some people are like, oh, you were long yesterday and now you're short. It's like, yeah, the market told me to get short, so I got short. So you got to realize trading and investing are different, right? This guy says the fear and greed index dropped from 80 to 31. No way in hell you should be doing anything but dollar cost averaging right now. Yeah, I mean, if you're a long-term holder, right? Again, RSI is getting, this is the most oversold we've been since way back here, or even since the March crash. So should you be selling everything that you bought here? Probably not, because we're due for a bounce soon. But just realize, right, the RSI was super fucking oversold here, right? And it stayed oversold for literally days and days and days, right? So this can go much deeper before we get that relief bounce, and that means price could go from here down to like 40K. Like, are you going to dollar cost average all the way down? Again, what are you doing, trading or investing? But we're definitely due for a bounce soon. But again, this is the daily chart. This can still happen here, which means how much lower is that going to mean in price, right? That's the question you got to ask. But we are due for a bounce soon, right? If you look at like some of the lower time frames, we're getting close. Like, this is a 4-hour bullish divergence here, right? This is a bullish divergence. We're making lower lows, and if we get a third stab, that'd be perfect, right? Because we'd have now 3 drives to the downside, and we would have a triple bullish divergence on the RSI. Right? So bounce is definitely coming soon, but just be aware, if you're trading with leverage and you long it here and it goes to 45K, you're probably fucked. If you're dollar cost averaging in and you're trading spot, it's not as big of a deal. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that, right? Triple bullish divergence, right? 1, 2, 3 peaks, 3 stabs down, then some sort of relief, right? That could happen. Is it strange that we didn't take any highs since 60K? Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that we've left all of these highs intact. So what does that tell me? It means that you're getting fucking blown out buying the dip here. Getting short on board has been hard. But eventually we are going to have some sort of relief candle that, kind of wipes out some of these highs, probably. And then maybe more down, who fucking knows. But I have a feeling these highs do not get left, at the very least. These ones, I don't know. This is pretty far from where we are now, right? Why does it never work when I want it to, right? That's a pretty big ask to run those highs. That's a 20% move, right? But these highs here probably get run at some point. I very much doubt that these highs get left. And if we see some sort of SFP above this, that's like short the living fuck out of it. But who knows? We'll see. All right. We'll leave that on. It might just go from here. We'll see. Sir, please say psych. Psych. Thank you so much for doing these streams. You have such good attitude with all this shit. Insane amount of patience. Some of the best not financial advice on YouTube. Not financial advice is correct. Okay. Anyways, chat is going ham. I can't even keep up with the chat anymore, guys. I do my best. I'm just going to have to pick and choose when I read it because I get so many fucking messages, right? So I can't, and I'm not trying to sound like a douche, but I literally, if I just read this the entire time, it would take up the entire stream because you guys keep adding to it, and like I'm way behind, and it's just like I don't want to be talking about the fucking I don't want to be talking about the fucking chat while, shit is going on in price. Okay, so Bitcoin we've covered head to toe. So let's cover Ethereum next here. Yowza. Okay, I gotta pee. I'm just gonna go pee real fucking quick. 1 sec here. Oh, sorry about that. Just had to go pee real quick. I chugged like a shitload of water before the stream. Oh yeah, we're losing viewers as soon as a man can't go pee and people start leaving the stream. Okay, so let's look at Ethereum now, because Ethereum obviously looks a little bit better than Bitcoin itself. So we'll compare Ethereum first versus USD, and then we'll look at Ethereum versus BTC, and then we will kind of see what we can surmise from the comparison. So Ethereum on the monthly does not look nearly as bad as BTC on the monthly. Ethereum's monthly candle is going to close green. So what does this tell you? Just looking at these two charts side by side, right, should tell you, right, that the FBTC ratio is bullish, right? That's what this shows you. The FBTC ratio is bullish because Ethereum is stronger than Bitcoin. Bitcoin for the month is down monstrously, horrendously, almost 30%, whereas Ethereum on the month, was at one point up 40% and is going to close up 21%, right? So let's assume the monthly close today. Ethereum would be closing green. Ethereum would be closing bullish, or BTC would be closing bearish. Therefore, the FBTC ratio must be bullish, right? Must be in an uptrend, must be looking strong. And that is the case. So if you're looking for something to fucking long, at least from a scalping perspective, not just from a high time frame perspective, but from a scalping perspective as well, Ethereum is showing strength relative to Bitcoin. Just today, Ethereum BTC is up 6%, and Ethereum USD is up 3%, while Bitcoin is down 3%. So if you're a day trader, where are you better off looking for longs? On Ethereum, because it's bullish. High time frame, and relative to Bitcoin, it's stronger, right? So that's where, as a trader, you can use these alt BTC ratios, right? So looking at the monthly, we're bullish. Looking at the weekly, we took this high. So we are going to close with, kind of taking the weekly high and closing well below. This looks like, a weakening trend. It doesn't look like it's over yet, but I mean, this definitely, again, still looks way better than the Bitcoin weekly, right? So, looking at the weekly chart on Ethereum, we've taken this high. We're definitely closing below. If Bitcoin shits the bed to like 38, to 40K, kind of like I was expecting on the weekly, right? If that's what's going to happen on Bitcoin, Ethereum is going to pull back. It will likely pull back less than Bitcoin based on the strength of FBTC, but it doesn't mean that it's impervious to the dump, right? Bitcoin is still the king at the end of the day. So if Bitcoin dumps really hard, I expect ETH to dump, but based on the strength of FBTC, it might dump less. Where would I be looking to buy Ethereum if Bitcoin goes back to 40K? Here is where I'd be looking. Okay, I'd be looking for a run of these lows, right? So you've got a key swing low here on the weekly, and then you've got demand on the weekly right below. This is essentially the exact same setup as on Bitcoin, right? So we have the weekly demand and we have the key weekly swing low right there, looking at a very similar setup here, right? So here's your market structure low. Maybe we get some sort of move below there. I think if you get a chance to bid Ethereum 1800 to 1900, I think you take it on the high time frame, because I think it's probably a pretty safe bet. If the bull run is going to continue, I don't see us going below here for very long. All right. So that would be kind of my game plan for Ethereum on the weekly. If Bitcoin is going to continue to dump, this is where I'm looking to buy the dip on the weekly chart of Ethereum. Ethereum appears stronger right now, so if you're a day trader, if you're a scalper, etc., you have better off chances of scalping longs on Ethereum than you do versus Bitcoin, because this is a more bullish chart for now. But very similar to Bitcoin, right? Kind of our clue as to when we should have gotten the fuck out was here, right? We had all-time high, we went above, closed, and then closed below, and then sold off, right? So the failure to gain acceptance above all-time high was the clue that this dumped. Exact same shit here, right? Made an all-time high, closed below, dumped, came up, retested, and then dumped way fucking harder, right? So that's what we could be seeing happening right now on Ethereum, right? Dumped, come up, maybe we retest there, maybe not quite that high, and then dump again. Until I see something of, to view as, more strength for me to get in a long, high time frame, I don't see it yet. Obviously, if we reclaim this level, right, we could probably trade it into this level. If we reclaim this area, by all means, 3K is on the table. But for now, I'm hesitant based on how shitty Bitcoin looks to be hopping into, longs, expecting this to go to 3K. I'm buying the shit out of it here, and I think any sort of move up eventually is going to be a short opportunity into here. So whether that's a move up, just to here, or it's a move up higher, I don't know. But I'm probably going to be hunting a short on this thing. Weekly, again, weekly chart tells me that we probably go here. Looking at the daily, right, where's the market structure levels of interest for me? Well, this low made this high. Or actually, it was this low, sorry. Right, so here's your range on Ethereum to watch. What's the high here? 44, 44, equal highs. So this is your range, right? Look at this relative to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is much more bearish than Ethereum right now. So technically we're within the range here. I think, a move above the range high, obviously I would target 3K. A move below the range low, I would be targeting that weekly area of support, right? Which is right around, I'm just gonna draw it out here. Here. right? So I'm leaning towards if Bitcoin remains weak, this being week 2, but just relatively looking at the 2, this looks much stronger. So maybe this pulls the market up as a whole. It's definitely possible that ETH could fucking drag us back up on Bitcoin, but ETH could go fucking to 3K and Bitcoin could still be well below 60K. That's the thing. This could make a higher high and Bitcoin could still make a lower high on the high time frame and then shit the bed from there, right? So maybe ETH goes to 3K, Bitcoin goes to 57K, and then they both shit the fucking bed. But high time frame on Ethereum looks better than Bitcoin. I still think there might be a chance that we get to long it sub 2K. And if we do, that's an opportunity that I'm going to take. Sub 2K into this kind of, order block here, I would look to long Ethereum. But for now, this is in a daily consolidation. And the market structure technically is still bullish. We've ran the low, we've ran the high. So to me, outside of a day trade or a scalp within here, there's nothing for me to do in here. I'm not taking a trade in here. I would wait for some sort of move one way or another before making a decision, right? Something like that, or something like, this, who knows, or obviously, some sort of bullish move out could be a long as well. But nothing for me on here on Ethereum. It's more bullish than Bitcoin, and that is illustrated in this fucking chart right here. Right? So this is the one chart that I'm the most proud of because I've been doing these streams since August and we've called pretty much every move on FBTC in the entirety of the, kind of whatever it is, 9-10 months that we've been doing these streams. We've called every one of these moves, the lows, the topping here, the low here, the high here, the higher low here, and then obviously this move up as well. So this thing is looking super bullish, hence why Bitcoin or Ethereum is looking more bullish than Bitcoin itself. We're about to close as a higher high on the weekly. So what does that mean? It means that yes, we're probably going to get a pullback, but I expect further upside. I ultimately still expect FBTC eventually to trade into here. Right? That would be my next target after this. So it's looking super fucking bullish. Again, why look for longs on Bitcoin when FBTC is showing you that it is stronger than Bitcoin right now, right? That's how you need to be using these ratios. So looks fucking great. Weekly is going to close in 30 minutes. And we're going to be closing as a higher high. I had this level out marked. You can see we broke above. Very nice retest, and we're pushing away. So this looks really good to trade higher. I would be looking to kind of long the dip, right, if we get one. So maybe we get some sort of move like this. And then if we get some sort of pullback, so maybe it comes back into the high or it comes back into here, I would be looking to long it. But yeah, this looks really good. I'm bullish on FBTC. This is a bullish chart. So if you're trading on an exchange that allows you to trade FBTC itself rather than just FUSD, right? This is a chart that you can be looking for longs on. It's bullish, right? As opposed to this chart, which is not bullish, right? Go where the strength is. If you want to long shit, go long charts that look bullish. There are some that exist. This is a bullish chart. Cake is looking absurdly bullish, right? Making higher lows and higher highs. So there are charts out there that still look bullish. Binance coin looks like it's about to make another high. BNB. But BTC itself does not look bullish, right? So if you're going to be longing, look for strength and going long into strength. Don't force a long on Bitcoin because you just want it to go up. Bitcoin can go down and other stuff can go up or at least outperform. So Ethereum looks pretty good to me. The FUSD pair, daily range here. I would wait for some sort of breakout, but FBTC looks bullish, and I would be longing any sort of dip that we get into next week. All right. Let's go check on that. Eth. I don't know. It just screams bear flag to me, but we'll see. So yeah, ETH looks fucking great, man. Like if you're gonna be longing something, don't long Bitcoin, long ETH. But this is hard to trade. You know what I mean? Like this is not super easy to fucking trade. This kind of chop, at least not for me. You know, some people are dynamos at trading this kind of stuff. This is not my forte, but FBTC looks really bullish, and it's gonna close as a weekly higher high, unless we have some sort of catastrophic failure here. It should close in the next 25 minutes as a higher high on the weekly. But look what happens last time it did that, right? So everyone was bullish. We closed as a higher high on the weekly, and then we had a big old pullback, right? So realize that what could happen is if Bitcoin is bearish and it's going to go to 40K, ETH could do this. FBTC could do this, right? And then go up. So what would this mean? This would mean like 18 to 1900 ETH USD. It might go down less than Bitcoin, but then when this recovers and Bitcoin recovers, ETH might outperform, right? So there's a world where, you know, Bitcoin goes to 40K, ETH USD goes to 1800, and then hoping Bitcoin bottoms and continues on the bull run, and then this thing bottoms here, and then ETH outperforms Bitcoin on the recovery, right? That's what you'd be tracking on this chart. But yeah, it's going to close as a higher high, but just remember, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 green weeklies in a row, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 green weeklies in a row. Then look what happened. 1, 2, not really a good example. This one we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then a correction. So just because this makes a higher high, it doesn't mean it's going to go like this. More likely, maybe it goes up a little more, but it's going to have some sort of pullback, fill in some of this move, and then it will likely continue going higher, right? But all that matters high time frame is higher highs and higher lows, right? But the higher high, right, that might happen here, the higher low is not going to be here, right? Probably going to be back into this move a little bit, at the very least to here probably, but maybe lower. But yeah, ETH looks strong. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin shits the bed this coming week, right? Does something, shits the bed. This does this. ETH goes to 1800, right? And then this finds support here. ETH bounces. Hopefully Bitcoin bounces. Dream scenario for me is, you know, we do this like early in the week. And then, you know, this starts to consolidate and push back up, and then altcoins like ETH and shit, you know, get a quick fucking shakeout and then continue going higher. All right. This video is starting to get a little long. Let's see. Do some questions here. The weekly close is fucked, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This is not going to close good. I'd be amazed. If it closes here, I'd be amazed. What about the theory that BTC is just heading towards the weekly EMA while it will bounce? I don't use EMAs. It's not something I look at. I think people use moving averages very well. I'm not one of them. So I have no comment on that. I think personally that moving averages can be a bit of a hindsight indicator, but I know lots of great traders who use them. More power to them, but not something that I use in my trading, so I don't really know. This guy says, is that Nikotsky background wallpaper? It is. John Bollinger said something similar to 3 pushes. Yeah, John Bollinger is a god. He's a god amongst men. What would be the case for the lats if multi-month range happened? Alts. Hard to say, right? Look at the alt BTC pairs. If Bitcoin decides to do some sort of big old fucking sideways thing, I could get behind that being bullish for alts, and we see, upward continuation on alts. My one concern, right, is that Bitcoin dominance has been going straight down for an entire, 2 months straight. This is going to have some kind of relief here, which is not bullish for alts. Like, people are like, alts, we need alt season. Alts have been going fucking nuts. Right? Like, alts have been going nuts. This is cake since the start of March. Start of March, right? Up 230%, right? Like, a ton of alts have gone crazy in the last few weeks. So, like, people are always like, alt season. It's like, dude, in the last 7 months, not even, the last 4 months, this thing's up 4x, right? Like, lots of alts have gone absolutely bonkers. Not all of them, right? But some of them have gone absolutely fucking bonkers in the last couple of months. And everyone's like, alts need to go up more. And it's like, well, I mean, a lot of them have gone up a lot. XRP did like a 10x since January, right? So I do think BTC dominance is due for a bounce soon. Let's just put it that way. But obviously, BTC going sideways and not being trending strong in either direction generally is pretty good for alts. But alts have been going crazy lately, right? They've been going fucking nuts. To get a better understanding of order blocks, what is the best content to check out? Check out Inner Circle Trader, ICT, on YouTube. That's where I learned them from. No lats here, only neck, for sure. Thick neck gang. Should I make like some fucking neck merch? Like some thick neck shirts and shit like that and sell it just to recoup of all of my losses from fucking Bitcoin going down? Sounds like 2018, buy the fucking dip, wreck, buy the fucking dip, wreck, get rinse, repeat. Possibly, man. I don't know why every analysis you have assume it will go lower. I mean, 45K, 100%. I never said anything was 100%. And I also gave you situations where it can go up too. Maybe you just aren't paying attention. Am I short right now? Yes, I have a small short open from just under 50K. And I was up quite a bit more before I started this stream, but we're seeing a bounce. ETH shows some strength. Do you think it can pull the market up? Possibly. It looks like it's kind of holding the market up now, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like, if FBTC chills out, because it will, right? It's had 4 green candles in a row. It is going to pull back. And if that happens, confluent with Bitcoin shitting the bed, right? Could be bad news. We'll see. We're down a lot. Right? Like, we're down a lot already, so we are due for some relief, right? But again, there's a lot of reasons on Bitcoin to be bearish right now, so any sort of longs, I'm just being cautious with, that's all. So you're saying I should 50x off the 15 minutes. That's exactly what I'm saying, yes. I completely agree, not going to turn bullish until strength is shown and levels are reclaimed. Exactly, capital preservation. I just looked at ETH. Can you explain the theory and concept why break in market structures is so significant? Like, you're implying a break in market structure can dictate direction, because that's how markets move, right? Everything is based on market structure. An uptrend is dependent on the market making higher highs and higher lows. And a downtrend is based on the market making lower highs and lower lows, right? That's all the market is. The market can only do 3 things. It can only go up, sideways, or down. And when it's going up, it's making higher highs and higher lows. And when it's going down, it's making lower highs and lower lows. And when it's going sideways, it's generally in a range. And markets shift between periods of up or down by shifting market structure. So a period of up can become a period of sideways, but then when the market structure shifts, that can be an inclination that the trend is then shifting. So it's trend, right? All the trend is market structure. Do you use max pain? I notice every month BTC drops to reash closer to max pain. I don't know what that means, max pain. Like, I know people say max pain would be this, but I don't know. I didn't know that that was a significant number. This guy says, no way Apple would ever buy Bitcoin? Are you fucking Steve Jobs? How do you know, bro? Love you. Love your staff. Thank you. I love you as well, Jail Bob. What case would be alt? You've asked us like 3 questions. Three times. You're coping on Sol. Laugh my ass off. No Sol. Not going to make it. Explains everything. I'm confident if Crypto MS and Crypto Chris Charles here, if you combined the entire net worth of yourselves, all the Sol that you own, and all of your family's net worth, I would still have more money than both of you. And I own no Sol. I don't care, right? I don't care about any coin whatsoever. I'm in this game to make more money. That is my number one priority in crypto, is to make more money so I can buy shit in the real world. You are holding Sol, praying that Sam pumps it to the moon so you can potentially taste wealth. Just maybe, because you don't actually know how to trade and you have no fucking clue what you're doing. If Sol is bullish, maybe I'll long it. If it's bearish, maybe I'll short it. I don't give a fuck about what it does at the end of the day. I don't. That's just not who I am. I'm not an investor. I am a trader who buys shit that's bullish and sells shit when it's bearish. I don't care what coin it is or what coin it does. When people have this fucking attachment, this circle jerk-off session around some coin and they become a maxi, those people don't trade and are just at the mercy of that fucking coin, right? At the mercy of that. Like XRP people, Ripple maxis, are at the mercy of Ripple. If it doesn't go back to all-time high, they're never going to make it. If Ripple doesn't go to $10, they're never going to make it. Well, what happens if Sol dumps? What are you going to do? Are you going to hold it all the way back down? So shut the fuck up and yeah, fuck off. RSI also giving a bullish divergence on the dip. There you go. Hi from France, mate. Thanks. I learned a lot from you. De rien, mon ami. Are there crucial things that a person with an investor type of approach can learn from a trader? Absolutely. Risk management, how to spot key levels of support and resistance. Just because you're an investor, it doesn't mean you want to buy tops, right? Ideally, if you're an investor, you want to buy at ideal times. If I'm an investor in Bitcoin and I'm just looking at the weekly chart, I don't want to buy it up here. I want to buy it here, right? And so you can absolutely learn stuff from traders in terms of when are the most opportune times to buy and sell, right? Maine, are you surprised with all of the basic TA questions you still get after all this time? Of course I am, because no one watches all of my old videos where I cover these concepts over and over. Maine, I know you don't look at the 21 EMA, but have a look at it. I'd like to hear your... I mean, it means nothing to me, though, bro. It means nothing to me, this EMA. I'm going to do this just for you, bro. So, again, right? Like, what good does this do me? Are you saying that if we come here, you're going to buy it? Like, is that what you're saying? Because, like, yeah, maybe you bought this here, right? But, like, what about here? What if you bought this touch and then it went below? Like, this isn't something I use in my strategy at all. But, yeah, you could say, hey, maybe we're just coming back. We're going to retest it. We're going to retest it. And we're going to go. It's definitely possible. But to me, this kind of shit just, it fits your bias, right? You'll be like, oh, it's going to the 50 EMA. And then it goes through that. Well, it's going to the 100. Now it's going to the 200, right? So it's not something that I use personally, but what does this mean? We're below this EMA. What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to come up and test it and go down? I don't really know. I would much rather use horizontal SR than something that is kind of moving and changing. But could we be coming down to test this before going higher? Similar to what we did here? Absolutely. One thing I do know about these moving averages, right, is when the trend is strong, generally you're moving away from it and diverging from it, right? So maybe we're just kind of coming back into this and then we're going to continue. I don't know. Not something that I use though, my man. Amazing content. Your Giga Brain. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for tuning in, brother. No pee in a bottle. No, dude. Okay. Favorite Akatsuki member? Obviously, it's Itachi. Come on. What kind of question is that? Neck merch, top signal. Yeah, probably. Do you chart F pairs along with BTC pairs? You should, right? Like, so if you're trading altcoins right now, F is super fucking strong, right? Like we covered F being super strong. So if you're in an altcoin, let's say you're long Cake, right? Well, you should be looking at Cake versus F, right? Because if this is in an uptrend, which it is, you're better off in Cake than in F, right? But let's say you're looking at, let's say you're long LTC, like me, because I'm retarded. Well, in this instance, as you can see, LTC is underperforming F. So your money is better off in F versus LTC. This is no different than looking at alt BTC ratios. If the alt BTC ratio is going down, you're better off just in BTC. Well, that same logic can be applied here. If your alt compared to F is going down, you're better off in F than you are in the alt. Yo, main, that quad sweep screams 500 lab squat. What's your 1 rep max? My 1 rep max on squat is probably like 350. Not 500. I wish. I'm not that big. Bitchy main, lol wrecked. You sound triggered about Sol, bro. You sound like a retard, bro. Like, it's just funny to me, right? Like, everyone, like, I don't care if Sol continues to go higher. Like, I'll long it. If it continues to be bullish and the whole market is going down, I'll long it. But trying to act like you're smart because you're long Sol when it's up 4,000% in a year is the biggest cope I've ever fucking heard. Like, of course you should be up. It's up 4,000%. If you're up anything, if you're this hard on for Sol and you're up anything less than like a 30x, you're failing hard, bro. Anyways. This guy says he's going to DM me and show me how dumb you sound. Okay, dude. Do whatever the fuck you want. I literally don't care. Anyways, like, Sol is bullish. Like, this chart is bullish, right? It's going up. But this is doing the same thing that Bitcoin did. That Bitcoin did before it rolled over, right? It's getting overbought on the high time frame. This is a massive bearish divergence that's starting here, right? So it's making higher highs. The RSI is getting overbought. I'm not saying this is going to zero. I'm just saying, like, this thing is going to be cooked eventually. And you can buy it on the dip. Like, I'm not going to be chasing a long on something that's up 4,000% at all-time high. That's just not what I do. If it's going to go higher, I know that I can get in lower. Literally every single candle since this, like, the end of March has been green. So if I'm looking at this from a trading perspective, I'm not buying Sol here, right? Like, I'm looking to buy it here at the very least. Maybe it goes higher first, but I'm pretty sure it will come back and give me a retest that if I want to get long, I can, right? Eventually it pulls back. It never looks like it will. Never looks like it will, right? And then it does. It doesn't quite come there, but I'm not going to chase this thing. This thing is going straight up vertical and it's already trading at $50, right? So, like, I can find other coins to long that I think aren't this vertical already, and I can focus on those. I don't need to chase something that's already fucking pumped 4,000% off of the lows and is making a new all-time high while Bitcoin looks bearish. Like, I'm sure Sol as a project is bullish. I'm all for FTX and SAM and their entire ecosystem. I'm all for it, dude. But from a trading perspective, like, I'm not going to buy something that looks like this right now. I need some sort of setup to get in. Maybe this was the retest, right? Like, maybe this is it. Maybe it's going to make another all-time high push from here. I don't really care, because this thing going from from here to 100, like it doesn't matter to me. All I care about is it volatile and can I capture a percent change in it? And it doesn't matter what the coin is. I'm not an investor in projects for the most part. I just care if it moves and if I can make some money on that movement, right? Most people, from the sounds of it, based on how fucking hyped you are on Sol, is that you want to you need Sol to go to $100 for you to make it. I don't need anything to go up for me to make money. I can make money in either direction. Anyways, I'm done dealing with this fucking bullshit. Yes, thank you, SC. I just think it's hilarious. Like everyone's like, yeah, fucking dude, trust me, bro, you're missing out. I'm like, dude, if you're selling Sol here, you're freaking retarded. Or if you're shilling Sol here, I think you're retarded. Can it go to 100 from here? Absolutely, right? Can it? Sure. Guess what? 100% from here is like a 2x. It's up 40x already, dude. Like, get your fucking head on straight. Anyways, what else do we want to see? I'll do one more coin. I'll break down one more coin, and then I'm going to be airing the episode of Explain to Main. So I had a NAOS Finance on come and talk about their DeFi platform. So I'm going to be playing that at the end of the video. But I will pick one more coin, and I will do a complete top-down breakdown of that coin. All right, we got BNB, we got Ray, we got Ass, we got Cake, Serum, Rune. Everyone's saying something different. Okay, we got a few votes for BNB. I did an entire video on UTK like 2 days ago, bro. Just check it out on my Twitter. Okay. We are going to do... All right, here's the deal. All right, stop posting, guys. Stop posting. It's going to get too hectic in there. Here's the deal. We're going to do... I'm doing an entire video on Rune. So stay tuned for that. What's up, NJ? How you doing, homie? Okay, everyone relax. All right, I'm going to do BNB. I'm going to do Link. I'm going to do XRP. Okay, I'm going to do those three. I'm going to do BNB, I'm going to do Link, I'm going to do XRP. All right, guys? I'll do a stream at some point midweek, and we can do like kind of some altcoins. My suggestion for all these alts that you guys are mentioning to me, right? Look at the BTC pair. So if you're long RSR, look at the BTC pair. Right? So depending on what this is doing, that's going to dictate your decision, right? So if this continues to push up, then you're probably good. But if this is bearish, you're probably looking like shit, right? Look at Link, right? I've already done Link, but sure. XRP BTC, right? So we've got to look at the BTC pair to determine what we're doing, whether or not the USD pair makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna do BNB, XRP, and Link. Okay. Any other coins, you guys? I'll do a chart. Sometime, or I'll do a stream sometime this week, and we can go over a bunch of altcoins. Again, altcoins, just be careful, right? Bitcoin kind of runs the show. So if Bitcoin drops another 10%, altcoins are probably going to bleed out pretty hard. All right, so we're going to do XRP, link, BNB. All right. And what I cover on these guys, you can use on all your coins. The analysis works the same, right? Chris says, I'm just trolling. I've been in crypto since 2013. Okay, I mean, bro, send me a DM about Sol. But like, I'm just like, we're up 4,000% since January, right? Like, it's hard for me to buy something that's up 4,000% when it just made an all-time high today. You know what I mean? And I'm just ranting. I don't fucking, at the end of the day, like, I don't give a shit about what anyone thinks. Like, it's all good. I'm an internet personality. I can take trolling. It doesn't hurt me. Okay, so we'll look at XRP first. So XRP has kind of, been crazy. I think I can get actually a better chart here. Oh, maybe not. XRP's kind of gone on a crazy run, right? So we ran all the way down into the lows here. Okay, and then we saw a move up. This little move on XRP here sent XRP like over $1, right? So, pretty crazy. I didn't think XRP was gonna go to $1.40, but there's a good chance that XRP can still make a new all-time high in this run, right? This has a lot of room to go, right? So if Bitcoin is going to break out again, right? Even if it goes down first, if it eventually breaks out, this is a pair that, realistically, it hasn't pumped that much. So if we zoom in a little bit, right, to kind of where we are today, this is not an insane amount of movement, right? Maybe a 3x off the lows here, but like this thing has crazy amounts of room it can go, right? So XRP USD almost went to like $2, and XRP BTC still looks like dog shit, right? So relative to Bitcoin, XRP looks like shit, but it doesn't mean that it's fucking over and that it can't go up. So the two levels of interest for me on XRP are going to be right here and right here. Okay, so I wouldn't want to see XRP BTC trade below here, because if it does, I think it's going to go much lower. And I think if XRP BTC trades above here, I think it will go much higher. So that's going to be kind of the two areas of interest that I think you want to watch on XRP BTC. I think if we break out here, pretty confident that we will see a new all-time high on the USD pair. If we break below here, I think there's a very good chance that we're going to be retesting those kind of like 30, 40 cent areas on XRP, right? Because a move from here, why does it never fucking work, right? Would be a cut, a 40, 50% cut, right? From $1 puts you around 40, 50 cents. So these would be the two areas of interest for me on XRP BTC. I'm not really interested in any of this price action in between. I either want to see a breakout or I want to see a breakdown. Breakdown, I think XRP is going back to like 30, 40, 50 cents. A breakout, I think XRP makes a new all-time high. So that's what's crazy. XRP did this when it made its last all-time high. XRP could be trading here and it would be at a new all-time high. It doesn't even have to go all the way up there relative to Bitcoin, right? So that's what I'm watching on XRP right now. Move above there, move below here. Looking at the USD pair, we've come into support. This seems like an area where it should bounce, right? So we had a big old fucking pump up to $2, and then we've had a big retracement, right? Big retracement, way deep into the fib, into demand. If you even pull your fib from here, right into the 70.5. So this is an area that you want to see as support, and that would be confluent with this being the low for now. So you ideally, if you're in XRP, you want to see this go up, because if this goes up, good chance this goes up as well. On support for now, again, if XRP BTC breaks down, I'm expecting this to break down and XRP to go start trading back into here, right? That 40 to 50 cent range I was talking about. If we're able to get up above here, I think that would be a pretty good sign that we're going to go probably make a new all-time high. And I know that's crazy because you're like, oh, but we're not even close. I'm pretty sure if we get back above here, we're going to all-time high on XRP. So an interesting spot for XRP for sure. I wouldn't really want to see it lose this support though. This would be the area to watch. If Bitcoin shits the bed, this thing can shit the bed. Reload down here, see if it goes up from there. Right? If Bitcoin goes to 40K, XRP I think goes to like 50 or 60 cents. Right? So there's that. I'm chewing too loud, I'm sorry. Here's our daily open. Look at the daily open for the last week. Other than here, right? Below the daily open, down. Up above, back below, down. Up above, back below, down. Pretty fucking weak. But yeah, daily open just opened now. I guess it hasn't even. Here we go. Just open now. Wait, isn't the daily open? Yeah, it's in white. New weekly open as well. Right here. So there's the daily open on Bitcoin right here. So hopefully that's not the daily high. That would suck. All right. Why are you chewing so loud? I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even realize. What kind of gum are you choosing? I don't know. Excel. Did you ever get rid of the ghost in your apartment? It's not windy right now, so no ghost. Thanks for tuning in, Rod. Don't need Sol to do anything. Been in since 3. Could go to 25, and I'll be happy to buy more. Awesome. Well, so you got in early, bro. But, like, I don't know. Shilling shit that's up like a 40x when it's at all-time high, I just have a hard time, kind of getting behind. Question is this the XRP BTC bottom for this cycle? Possibly. Is this still live? Yes. You're probably the only person that doesn't have a ridiculous amount of windows open. I do, just on another screen. Do you search for laggards, I think you mean laggards, of coins that have pumped, like Sol Profits could go into Serum and Ray? Sure, exactly. I would rather long something that isn't already up tremendously because there might be asymmetry in terms of the potential risk reward, right? Am I Team Gimli or Team Legolas? I'm Team Legolas. All right. Cool. So XRP USD, we're into support. Want to see it hold here. Low time frame, right? High time frame, I want to see a reclaim here for bullishness. I would long a reclaim of like 138. Lower time frame here, not really much to work with. We're just consolidating right now. This is just a range. So once it breaks out of this range, then, if it breaks out here, wait for it to potentially break above here. This is where I'd be getting involved. Either that or you're long right now and your stop is like down here. You could be long here just as a swing. Target here, stop here, entry right here. Could be the trade. But again, want to see this obviously curl up for that. Link BTC. So I drew this last stream, I imagine, and as you can see, it's followed my plan to the fucking T. So basically, we had this falling wedge into support. So support is over here, I think on the monthly, right? So we have our monthly order block here, and then we have our 3-day bearish order block. So I said this is basically a big range, right? So people have been calling for $50 Link for fucking ever. And I think one of the things people seem to be missing is that Link itself has outperformed Bitcoin for literally 3 years, right? Like here's the start of 2018. This thing's been in an uptrend versus BTC. So it is possible that coins can go up even though Bitcoin is, experiencing a bear market here. This thing has just gone up. This kind of looked like a blow off the top to me. So, you know, the fact that people are still calling for $50 Link, I think Link has a lot of work to do. Relative to alts, like FBTC looks like this. It looks like this, right? Whereas Link has had this blow off the top already and then a huge retracement. So obviously it can go up, right? But I think Link has been underperforming Bitcoin basically for the last 8-9 months. And people have been screaming that Link is going to all-time high that entire time. And they've been underperforming Bitcoin itself since last summer, being in Link rather than just being in Bitcoin. You would have been better in Bitcoin basically every week except for a few since last summer. And overall, absolutely, right, it has underperformed Bitcoin drastically. So Link doesn't look as good as I think some people lead it on to be. They're like, oh, Link has to go up, blah, blah, blah. Link looks like shit relative to Bitcoin compared to a lot of other alts. That being said, it came into monthly support here, found a bottom, and now it's consolidating. So we kind of had this, you know, falling wedge. I said I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks out, moves up, and just continues to range. And that's kind of what's happening now. So my plan on Link BTC remains the same. Until it's above here, I don't see why you would be assuming Link is going to outperform Bitcoin, because it could just continue to do this for a while. But if it breaks out of this range to the upside, then absolutely, I think Link will start outperforming BTC. Until then, I wouldn't really bank on it. I would just kind of wait. And as you can see, Link USD hasn't done a ton, right? Like since last summer, Link BTC, Link versus USD, it did a 5x from bottom to top, right? Well, from last summer, Bitcoin did more, right? Or I guess effectively the same, but a little bit more it looks like, right? So if you're in another altcoin, right? If you're in ETH since last summer, you know, you did 2x of what Link did. If you're in Litecoin since last summer, you did, you know, 1.5 times more than Link did. If you're in XRP since last summer, right? It did almost a 2x of Link. So all of these coins, BNB, did way more, right? BNB went crazy. BNB did 5x of what Link did, right? So there's all these coins that have outperformed Link. And why? Well, this is why. Because the Link BTC chart is not that bullish right now. So you've basically been on par with Bitcoin or slightly worse being in Link over the last 9 months. So as much as I love the Link Marines, they got to be realistic here. Oh, we have a little bit of action here on Bitcoin. I wonder if we ever got that fill. No, not even close. Look at this. Look at this. The bottom's in, guys. We're going to 100K. Nice. Okay. Imagine. Like, we are due for a green daily candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red dailies in a row. That doesn't happen that often. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. No, not even. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, we don't get 5 red dailies in a row and not get some kind of relief. So, probably get a little bit of a relief rally here, which would be nice, right? So we have an SFP here on the hourly. I don't know. I would probably put bids here. I know this is already quite far away, but you might get lucky. You might get lucky bidding this. I have a feeling that this was the retest of the breaker. It didn't come quite and retest it perfectly, but I feel like that was it. And you didn't quite get filled, and now it's moving. Yeah, nice rally to start. Looks like we probably are going to get a green day. Let's look at the open here. Daily open is right here. Trade below, right? So maybe, I don't know, if we're going to get a green daily, any sort of move back towards the daily open could be a long, but it looks like I said a little while ago, I said I don't think these stops don't get hit, and it looks like we're going to run these stops right now. Okay, So we'll see, but we'll see. Obviously, you know, we had moves up like this that looked good and then did shit fuck all, but we are due for a bounce. So we'll see if we get it. It's looking good. I might set some bids here. Maybe we get a wick and then I get filled and then we go up, but decent look off the daily anyways. But again, this is not something to, I wouldn't just instantly fade this, right? I would wait for some sort of weakness, right? So if this is going to go up, if we get like a swing failure pattern, then you short it. Don't just instantly fade the move. But this is a good looking start to the daily. Maybe we're going to get a green daily and just get a little bit of relief, and then we can short it again. Anyways, yeah, so Link, right? You're underperforming Bitcoin right now, or you're not doing that great. Link USD looks like meh. Like there's so many better looking charts than this one, right? So I wouldn't be rushing to long this thing. It is into support here, right? But this thing has been kind of doing shit fuck all the last couple of months. Not really moved that much. How to move. So we're into support. Need to see Link break out. Maybe we're going to have ourselves a little bullish day here, guys. A little bullish fucking day. Who knows? Maybe the low is in. I don't fucking know. But we definitely are due for some fucking relief, right? So just looking at the daily, we could come up to here and then still go down. So that's kind of an area to watch. Anyways, XRP with a little tiny move off the bottom, and this guy goes, XRP's going ham. Guys, we're up like 2%. Everyone relax. But yeah, we're due for fucking relief, right? We are absolutely due for relief. You look at the daily, we've had 5 red dailies in a row. I think I could probably bet that we're going to close this daily green, and that would be awesome. So there's your big SFP. Nice little H4 swing failure pattern. Nice reaction so far. So let's see how far we can push. If I'm looking at this as a bear, which I am, this is where I'm looking for resistance to form now. Right? Want to see a move up into here and then a breakdown. That would be a short. Or if we get some sort of swing failure pattern above here, that would be a short. But promising to start, but it just shows you how fucking beleaguered the fucking bulls are at this point, that we have a 2% pump off the daily open and everyone's hoping the bottom is in. Okay, do I still have my UTK bag? Yes, I did an entire video on UTK, and I posted it on Twitter literally 2 days ago. So yeah, this is where I'm watching on Bitcoin now, guys, right up here for a bounce. Okay, guys, where's my FTX ref code? There's a button in my Twitter bio to Linktree. Go there and you can click that, and it has all of my relevant links. I'm going to end the video here, guys. This has been 2 hours and 12 minutes. So I'm going to air my Explain to Maine with NAOS Finance now. So if you guys are interested in sticking around with that, I suggest you do. It was a super fun conversation. I think it was some relevant information. It's a cool platform. It's launching soon. Doing something real cool in the DeFi space in terms of collateralizing real world assets to help back lending and borrowing and staking. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in. I'm sorry if I was too yelly, but yeah, let's see what Bitcoin can do today. Maybe we'll move up into here, squeeze some shorts. Who fucking knows? And yeah, I'll talk to you guys all soon. But yeah, I'm going to play that video now, so I'll leave that on. But yeah, no hard feelings to fucking Chris Charles or the other guy, Crypto M. I'm not trying to be a dick. I think the rants are just funny. People like them. Anyways, I'm going to air that interview now. Please stay around and watch it. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Twitter. I'll be back with another video soon. Link in my description of my Twitter for my referral codes for my Discord. It's all in the bio of my Twitter. Check it out. Yeah, come hang out in the Discord. I'll be back soon with another video. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys fucking soon. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna be putting this video on now. So I'm going to mute myself. make this public. I'm going to play this on fucking YouTube. Yo, what's up, everybody? Trader Main back here with another Explain to Main episode. Very excited about today's conversation. I'm speaking with Bob with NAOS Finance. Hey, Bob. So, really cool platform and product that's going to be launching soon. So I want to get him on the podcast here and kind of just chat about kind of what they're doing, because this is something kind of completely unique compared to, other companies I've spoken to and just what I've seen in the DeFi space in general in terms of, what their goal is, what they're trying to do. I think it's something that we haven't seen before. And I think for the opportunities for not just us as individuals, but for the potential global applications of a platform like this, I think they're awesome. So I figured, let's have someone from the team on, and they're going to be the best advocate for kind of what they're building. So Bob is here. Bob, why don't you just kind of give us like a quick high level of who you are, how long you've been in the crypto space, how you got involved with NAOS, so we can kind of go from there.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me to this show. It's really been my pleasure and honor. So I'm Bob Chen, and a little bit of my background. I was born and raised in Taiwan, and then went to medical school in Taiwan, and then afterwards I started my PhD at Emory in computer science. And when I was doing my PhD, actually at Emory, and that's when I started getting in touch with crypto. It was 2013, 2014 at the time. I think Bitcoin was $140 back then. And then I was stupid enough.
Hopefully you bought some.
I did buy some, actually. And I used the Bitcoin to do something else. You know what I mean? So I was stupid, just spending out all my Bitcoins on the dark web or something. Just saying. And afterwards, I started my own company, 2 companies, and then mainly in e-commerce area. And then I got recruited by NAOS team in 2021, and I met the founders back in Taipei, right? And then I think this project is super interesting, and I just start jumping in and become the head of the marketing and community to NAOS.
Awesome. So yeah, I have a similar background, got into crypto really early, spent my crypto on some nefarious things that unfortunately means I don't have them anymore, maybe some fireworks, maybe some other stuff. But it's funny, everyone has, kind of their own interesting way that they got involved in the space, and it's crazy to see where we've all kind of made it to 7-8 years later. So I'm going to kind of give a high level of what I think NAOS does, and then you can correct me because there's probably going to be some mistakes in what I say. But as everyone knows, the kind of point of these segments is I'm someone who's definitely new, green behind the ears when it comes to DeFi. A lot of these kind of opportunities, I've been very late to the party, but I do believe now that I've kind of stuck both feet into the pool of DeFi that this is something that is going to go far beyond just crypto. This is one of those things that I don't believe this is like the ICO boom where it's a bunch of vaporware projects that are get a white paper, launch it, get your money and run. I think there's real world applications for a lot of these companies, and I think even if we're no longer in a bull run, hopefully we still are, obviously. I don't think companies like NAOS Finance are going to be going anywhere because these have real world applications and they're not going to be tied to, the value of Bitcoin per se, like a lot of kind of, altcoins are. So these are real companies. And so my understanding of what NAOS does is it's a DeFi platform that is looking to collateralize debt. It looks like that's kind of the angle that they're going to be starting with. So it's actually taking something that's in the real world, putting it on chain, and then using that as collateral to then allow for, kind of common DeFi applications, lending, borrowing, staking, mining. My understanding is the advantage obviously is going to be that, if you're a company and you have debt on the books, perhaps you have account receivables, perhaps you have some sort of loan that's interest bearing and that has a fixed term, this can be turned into something that's actually revenue generating for your business by collateralizing that loan, lending it out on a platform like NAOS, and then actually getting a return on your investment for your investors, as opposed to just having this debt that is, slowly getting chipped away month by month. So I think that's really cool. I think the more that, we in crypto and the companies that are coming out of crypto can tie into traditional finance and into the real world, the more longevity that these types of projects are going to have, because there's actually something real behind it, right? It's something that if you're not even part of the ecosystem of crypto, you can see a value in this. So, maybe tell me a little bit about how you would kind of give your elevator pitch of what NAOS does. Who's your target customer? What is the end goal? Things like that.
Yeah, thank you. You explained that super, super, super well, to be honest. And yeah, like you said, NAOS is a platform actually put a real assets on chain and turn into the lending and borrowing platform for the users. And I think this idea is not like we're not the first team to do this, but we're actually the first team to bring the real asset on chain in scale, which means we have already been on on our white paper we say $250 million of real asset on chain, but actually we're right now growing to almost $600 million. This is huge, right? And then all those assets we collect company debt or financial or supply chain financing, they can generate a fixed income. And with that fixed income, you can actually kind of, mitigate the risk of lending and borrowing in the crypto world. Because you think about the crypto world, the price fluctuation is so high, and then the rate, just turn around is so high. So with this kind of real asset, can actually, stabilize it and then make it more the application could be more applicable for people. And our main customers, to real world customers, they will be small business or medium sized business coming from developing countries or developing industry, right? The new industry booming up, for example, some industry they're very green in the United States, right? These kind of companies that need finance, instant finance, to help them to grow their own business. However, sometimes you want to borrow money from bank, they ask you to stake in a whole bunch of assets, put in the bank 70% of your assets, right? Something like that. And then I think this is not healthy for small business. I'm a small business and medium-sized business owner myself, and I see the value immediately of NAOS finance platform. So I think, oh man, this is a really good product, really good platform, really good idea to help this small business to grow. So that's why I'm here to help the team to grow.
So it's interesting because I have a small business as well, and you're right. If you go to the bank, they might say, "Hey, we need this much assets, on our books, and we need 2 years of financial statements before we can give you a loan." And you're like, "Well, I just started the business. I don't have 2 years of financial statements, right? So what are your options?" Generally, that's when you go to the subprime market. For a lot of small businesses, where you're going to go and get a loan that's quite predatory at the end of the day, where the payment terms are awful, the interest rate is in the double digits, but it's the only option you have. And then these businesses become laden with this, huge high interest bearing loan. And like you said, it's not very conducive to, wanting to have new businesses, sprout up. And I think what's interesting is kind of the core essence of Bitcoin, right, is peer-to-peer commerce, right? At the end of the day, it's, hey, you and I can do a commerce transaction with no middleman. And this seems like it's kind of like, hey, we're keeping that ethos of what Bitcoin is meant to do, but we're doing it for lending. Now we can kind of do loans and lending between people and businesses without the need for that intermediary, without the need for that bank who's going to come in there and try and kind of, essentially get their money out of the situation. Because at the end of the day, the bank is most interested in covering their own ass and making sure that if you default on that loan or whatever it is, right, they're still getting paid and they have very little risk. So it's interesting. I like that it's kind of in line with the vision of Bitcoin itself. It's like, hey, let's eliminate that middleman. and allow for, like you said, maybe companies in developing countries, or just new businesses that don't have the kind of track record yet to go through traditional finance, to actually go and get some money. So I think that's pretty cool. So tell me a little bit about kind of where you guys are at today, and where you're going to be at in the coming months. So I know you mentioned you've got close to $600 billion now in assets, originated. I know the IDO is happening on Friday, or sorry, April 30th, excuse me. So what happens after that? What's the next kind of 6 months look like for the company?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, IDO is coming soon. Uh, like I said, April 30th is a super important day. I'm gonna, sort of ring the bell. Uh, Very excited. And afterwards, we are gonna launch our testnet in Q2, and then staking protocol in Q2 as well. After that, we will of course interact with the community to help to that community to help us to check the products. After that, we will have the main product launch in Q3, and that will be big. And then people can start using our protocol to lend and borrow money. Um, After Q3, Q4, the main goal would be start integrating our platform to different chains. So multi-chain is our core strategy of our company, right? You want to connect our platform to different ecosystems. So for example, Binance Smart Chain will be on our list, and other chains as well.
Awesome. So it's all seeming to happen, relatively quickly in the next handful of months here to really get going. And I think what's interesting for those of you that are watching that are kind of, more trading focused, right? I think a lot of people, right, we've had this big dump in the market. People are asking if the bull run is over. I think the amount of money and opportunity and just kind of movement that's going on with companies like NAOS Finance, with large scale institutional players, tell me that I think this bull run is long from over. Obviously Bitcoin is going to go up and down, but the fact that institutions are still pouring money into this space, making partnerships with companies like this, I think that's a really good sign long term, for people who are in crypto now. Like, if you think this is over, I don't know. I think you might be wrong. So tell us a little bit about, because I know it's mentioned on your website and on your Medium page as well. You formed some partnerships with some, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies as clients. What does that look like? Like, what role do some of these, larger institutions play for the company?
Yeah, so for example, they have, like you mentioned before, the company debt or the supply chain financing part, right? If they just put their money out there without making any interest, they just money sitting there, right? So essentially, turn them into an investor, and we take this kind of uh, assets and put in our platform, and then we function essentially as a commercial bank, right? And then we actually generate revenue from the real world, because our customers will be small business or individuals. So this is actually a real revenue generation process. That will be our core business model. And then after that, our asset partners, once they originate the assets, and they can actually earn the interest from those money, probably seen somewhere in the real world, but they can actually start generating interest on our platform.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. And so, me as an, obviously, you have the small to medium sized business as the customer. You have the kind of larger entities who are going to be, working with you to help actually, generate the assets, and collateralize these things to make them kind of, revenue generating. Me as an individual, how do I use the platform? So obviously, let's fast forward, 8, 9 months when the main net is launched. How does Trader Main log in? What do I do on Nows to actually interact with the platform, and what is the benefit it provides me?
Yeah, if you're individual investors, so of course we'll have the staking protocol you can use, letting out your money and then to generate interest, right? And then you can see the interest generation will be stable. So you can think about it as a long-term investment, and could be a life-changing event anyways, right? So because it's a real world uh, revenue generation machine behind our business model, right? And then if you're a small business and you actually want instant financial help, just use our protocol to lend to borrow money from it. And and then how do we evaluate your business is legit? So we do have a fintech partners. Um, they do have exclusive license in different countries. So, and not just only that, we apply the the AI based, machine learning based evaluation system to check your credit score and all the stuff to do the KYC very well. So that would be the one layer of protection in case the debt went default, right? But if that thing happen, I mean default happen, it's very unfortunate, but we do have insurance to cover it. So that's the other layer of protection to our investors.
There's no risk of kind of a rug pull. I think a lot of things that you worry about with some of these DeFi applications that are generating insane returns on your money is they're over collateralized and they're kind of based on air, right? There's nothing
Right.
really behind it. So yeah, maybe you're not going to get that kind of flashy, massive APY that for the most part I don't think is sustainable or realistic. But it's something that is real world asset backed. There is a rigorous layer of AML and KYC going into the companies that are lending on the platform. And then obviously at the very end, there's also insurance. So you're never really going to be at risk of, okay, this token is collapsed or something like that, and that money is gone. Because my understanding when I'm lending or borrowing or staking on a regular DeFi platform, to earn those crazy interest rates, I have to trust that underlying token at the end of the day, right? Because that's generally what your rewards are paid out in. So it might say, oh, you're earning 500% APY, but if that token becomes worthless, then what is the value there? So this seems like a much more safe way to invest. And like you said, it could be a better long-term option. If you've made a bunch of money in this crypto run, like, hey, I want to park some money somewhere where I know it's going to generate, steady interest. This seems a lot safer, and it's going to still be a lot better interest than you're going to get at your bank putting it in a guaranteed income fund that's going to pay you 1.5%. There's going to at least be some better upside here. So I think that's super cool. So my understanding then is, as an individual, I can stake. As a small business, if I'm opening a business and I want to borrow money and I don't want to go to the bank, or I don't think I can go to the bank, I can borrow through NAOS Finance. And then obviously for small to medium sized enterprises, you can become lenders and you can collateralize something that previously was on your balance sheet as a liability, debt,
Right.
accounts receivable, money that's owed to you. You can have this become an income generating thing for your business. So, I mean, it seems like a win-win-win. Which is super exciting. So very cool kind of, I think, summary of, what you guys do, and I think, who your customers are. And, for me, what I think is exciting about this is I come from a kind of traditional banking accounting background. I have my CPA. I've worked in accounting firms. I've worked in banks. I've worked in finance before. And I know how, I don't know if I want to use the term predatory is the right word, but I know how not customer centric these businesses are. And that's why I left each of those businesses. When I worked at the bank, I realized that everything I was doing was not in the best interest of the customer. It was what was the best interest of the bank. Right? So I'm only going to lend this money if I know there's pretty much absolutely no risk to the bank. And then when I worked in finance, I was like, okay, we're just getting this customer this loan because we know that we can charge them this absurd interest rate. And if they default, we're going to repossess their assets. So what I really like about crypto, and then how this is tying into, kind of the ethos of crypto as well, is that you're kind of putting the power back in the business's hands, back in the individual's hands to kind of do the lending and the borrowing, on their terms. So tell me a little bit about, I guess, and if you know this, the person who started the company, what is their background and why did they want to, did they come from a world where they saw, a gap in the market? Because this is a very interesting business model. So, I would think that, maybe this person owned a business and they were trying to get a loan and they were like, there has to be a better way.
Yeah, actually, when you mentioned about customer centric, and I was just thinking about I should talk about our team because our team is really really cool. I think. Let's talk about founder Kevin himself. This dude, he's amazing, and then he co-founded several companies. And for example, Lazada is one of the biggest e-commerce platform in Southeast Asia, acquired by Alibaba Group, right? And that's one of his success. And he has many exits. And then he joined Alibaba Groups as a VC background, mainly in charge the Southeast Asia strategic investments, and then joined the Fusan Group as a VC and partner as well. Uh, so he is coming from the e-commerce background, right? So as you know, e-commerce is a cutting through business. So you have to be super customer centric. Always think about customer. What do they want? What do they need? We had to serve them. So the provide the customer centric service is actually the core value of NAOS. And as you know, my background is coming from e-commerce as well. So like I said, always think about what would customer think about it. Always lower down the friction of the shopping process, right? So in NOW's platform, we were actually, focusing on, how do you take out this barrier of lending borrowing, just like think about how would people want access to this kind of finance, right? So we want to take out those frictions. And the other founding member, Janice, she is ex McKinsey and exit Citigroup. She's focusing on fixed income financing, so she's an expert in this part. So we have her on board to help us to go navigate through all this complicated contracts, all this due diligence process. She's contributing a lot. It's super amazing. Our tech lead, Wesley, he is experienced blockchain engineer in HTC. Right, HTC got bought by Google, and then they do lots of blockchain stuff. So he was now he's leading a team in technical efforts, and then we recruit a whole bunch of great talents, blockchain engineers, full stack engineers, the really great team, and putting the product together and always on time to deliver the products and catch up the roadmaps.
So are you guys hiring? Is that like, are you guys growing the team? I always find it interesting because I always tell people, right? Like, I mean, obviously a lot of people follow me because of trading and stuff, but I know most people aren't trading full time, and a lot of people are engineers. They're maybe coding, but they're working for some company. I'm like, hey, if you want to be involved in crypto, there's companies in the space that are hiring, and now you can kind of marry your professional world with kind of something you're passionate about, right? Like, is NOWS growing the team right now? Is that something you guys plan on doing in the future?
Yeah, man, we need talents. We need a marketing talent. We need engineering talents. We need finance analyst, all kind of talents. Just please submit your resume to team@NOWS.finance.
So there you go. I'll actually include his email in the description of the video here and just bombard him with your resumes. Yeah, I own a recruitment company actually, and so what I love to do is help people find jobs. And a lot of people I talk to, like, hey man, I own some Bitcoin, I love it, and it's like, well then why don't you work for a crypto company? You know what I mean? Like, I think people don't realize how many companies are out there that need talent, whether you're a software engineer, whether you're an SEO person, a marketing person, a finance person. There's companies hiring like crazy. So I think that's very cool. It sounds like the team has a lot of credibility, a lot of obviously relevant experience in terms of, what you guys are actually trying to do. And I love the mission, man. I think, trying to kind of remove barriers, make this easier. I wanted to touch on something around your customers. So I know you mentioned, small to medium-sized businesses, newer businesses. You mentioned briefly businesses in developing countries and things like that, where, I think, statistically generally are underbanked. And people don't have as easy access to funds. I think that's one of the biggest advantages of crypto, or one of the biggest advantages might not even be the right word, is if you have a phone and an internet connection, you can now start doing commerce using crypto in some of these countries where not everyone has a bank account. I think we take it very much for granted in North America, where it's like you have a bank account from, I had a bank account open for me with my parents when I was a kid. I don't even remember what it was like not having, a debit card. So I think the fact that you want to kind of empower people, not just here in North America or in Europe or in Asia, but in some of these, underdeveloped, kind of maybe second world countries where they don't have the same access to funds. Tell me a little bit about, how you guys are helping those types of customers out and how they can use your platform.
Yeah. So, for example, in Southeast Asia, the population there is huge, right? I think almost 2 billion people live in Southeast Asia. Um, and then lots of people they own their own small business, right? But once they want to grow their own business, they, like I said, there's no underbanking at all, right? So the bank system is not complete per se in that region, but the commerce is strong, right? The huge population, the young population, the not old population, they're growing areas. So the demands of the good commerce is there, right? But underserved in banking per se. So our platform kicking would be the right timing to serve all these small business, right? And also think about the Southeast Asia or to Asia, this East Asia in general. And lots of people own a small business, right? And then mostly in cash, the transactions cash, but sometimes the cash value is just it's not there, right? Sometimes the inflation rate is too high, so the crypto solution kicks in can actually help them to preserve the value and do the transactions. So I think our platform will serve the purpose very well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that's something people forget. One of the reasons of crypto is the anti-inflationary aspect of it, right? And it's very fine and dandy to be like, oh, I'm doing cash business here in the U.S. or here in Canada, but the dollar and inflation levels in some of these other countries can get insane, and the power of that dollar can really get eaten into very quickly. I think that's great because I really believe in businesses that are trying to help the greater good. Obviously, everyone wants to make money at the end of the day, but it sounds like you guys honestly want to help people have more control over their finances and their business and maximize the money that they can make, right? If you're working hard, you want to keep as much of your money as possible. I mean, that's what everyone believes, right? That's why no one wants to pay, tax, obviously, because you go, oh, well, I made all this money and now I got to give 40% of it to the government. So when any situation possible, whether it be through payment processing or in this instance through lending, if you can just keep a little bit more of it by eliminating a middleman, I think that's awesome. So I think that's really cool, man. So I think this has been a great conversation. I've learned a lot about kind of what you guys do. I'm really excited to see where this goes, because this to me seems like, again, something that is tying the real world to crypto, because I think crypto is still in a lot of people's minds. Like when I talk about it to my parents, for example, it doesn't seem real to them. It's this thing. They're like, oh, it's that magic internet money. And we need more companies like NAOS Finance who are actually tying in real world problems, real world, assets to the crypto space, so people can actually see, hey, it's more than just Bitcoin. Unfortunately, even though Bitcoin is trading at, 50 some odd $1,000, people just associate crypto with Bitcoin. They don't realize that the underlying blockchain technology and the applications like this that are being built on it, I think that's where the real value is. I think Bitcoin is kind of this, speculative asset that we all trade and we want to go up. But I think the future is in the technology. And I think the future is absolutely in DeFi. And I think this is one of the coolest applications of DeFi I've seen. And the fact that it's tied to something real makes it tangible and more easy to explain to people and see the benefit from. So quick summary here, Bob. April 30th is the IDO. Are people able to get involved on a whitelist or anything like that? Should they sign up to your Telegram for alerts? What's the best way to people to kind of stay on top of the news?
Right. Just please join our Telegram group and then follow our Medium.
Okay.
And Twitter as well, right? And then the whitelist application is going to close very, very soon. But the whitelist competition is going on until April 27th.
Okay.
So there's still a chance to compete with other people in the community to get a spot for a whitelist.
Awesome. So I will leave links, guys, for all of this in the description of the video. I'll also send out a tweet with all the relevant links, Telegram, things like that. So yeah, April 30th going to be a big day. I think this is super exciting. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and kind of tell us a little bit about what you guys are building. This has been super fun. If you guys got any questions, of course, you can direct them to me, and I'm probably just going to send you Bob's email anyways. And yeah, I'll also include his email in the description of this video. If you guys are working in marketing, finance, if you're an engineer, there's companies hiring. So if you want to kind of tie that passion to what you do, you can do that as well. So really appreciate the time, Bob. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, my pleasure.
We'll talk to you soon, man.
You're awesome, man.
All right,
awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying around and watching that. If you did, looks like Bitcoin is getting a little bit of relief here after a swing failure pattern on the lows. So I ended up aping into a long, but yeah, let's see what happens. Going to be aiming for this area at the very least, maybe a little bit higher. We'll see. But yeah.